He's not my Luke Skywalker. I said to Ryan, I said, Jedis don't give up. I mean, even if he had a problem, he would maybe take a year to try and regroup. But if he made a mistake, he would try and right that wrong. So right there, we had a fundamental difference. Who is this guy? How did the most optimistic, hopeful character in the galaxy turn into this hermit who says it's time for the Jedi to end? I read that and I said, what? I mean, that's not what a Jedi does. I mean, a Jedi is optimistic. A Jedi has tenacity. He never gives up. He doesn't secrete himself on an island. But you'll. It certainly surprised me to hear Luke say it's time for the Jedi to end. I said, what?
Yeah.
Luke was the most optimistic, hopeful character. And
yes.
I had a real, sort of a back and forth with Ryan. I said, Ryan, a Jedi doesn't give up.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
A Jedi, if he does something wrong, he makes it right. Even if he's traumatized and goes away, he regroup within, 6 months, but 20, 30 years? Come on, that's a little bit overindulgent in my...
He did. He wrote the script, which I'm sure a lot of people don't necessarily realize.
You just want to say...
I think that the thing that George never did was maintain the status quo. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's really important because...
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you!
Well, you're assuming that I train Ray.
Exactly. Sneaky.
Do I?
Sneaky.
I know, I have to be really careful. People say, was it difficult to pick up and wield a lightsaber again? And I go... Do I pick up?
Is it difficult acting in this movie? Am
well,
I in this movie?
I can promise you my part is twice as big as it was in Force Awakens.
Are you bummed that Luke didn't get sort of a reunion with Han Solo?
Absolutely. In fact, when I was reading it, I thought, if Leia's trying to mentally contact me and she's not successful, she'll rush to his aid. She'll get close to him and then get into some dire situation, and that's when I show up for a big yay, save her life. Then we rush to Han and are in the same position that Rey and Finn and Chewie are. Too late to save him, but witnesses. And I say, because it would carry so much emotional resonance into the next film. For us, his wife, his best friend to witness, instead of two characters that have known him, 20 minutes? Like I say, I didn't know it was going to be bought by Disney, because this was summer of 2012. Then they announced that Disney had bought Lucasfilm around Halloween, which would have been October 30th. It was announced. And, we didn't know who the director was going to be. And then they announced J.J. Abrams, and it all came out. It was all very, very exciting. And, I hope people are happy. It seems like, because in Hollywood, remember, kids, it's not important if it's of high quality, only if it makes money. Now, I don't want to, a good example would be Transformers. And to be completely fair to Michael Bay, I have never seen a Transformers film. I know they're among the highest grossing films in Hollywood history. I saw a trailer, and I'm too old to process that much information. The thing looked like it was edited in a Cuisinart. If you try and count 1,000, 2, 1,000, and it's just mind-boggling. And they're cutting everywhere where you don't know where you are. It's cinema of bewilderment, But what I'm saying is, they keep making... all I'm saying is, I've never met anybody that's my age, or probably even your age, that say, oh, I love that movie. Most people are disparaging of that particular franchise, but they keep making them because they make huge amounts of money. And oh my God, I just realized this is all on film. But my larger point was, it doesn't matter if it's good as long as it makes money. So because The Force Awakens made a lot of money, I can't be, it's not ergo, it's good.
Have you been keeping Rey's secret from the beginning? Did you know
about the parentage? Like, tell me about that journey of when you found out.
No. At the beginning, there was toying with like an Obi-Wan connection, and then it really went, there were like different versions, and then it really went to that she was no one. And then it came to episode 9, and JJ pitched me the film and was like, oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaddy. And I was like, awesome. And then 2 weeks later, he was like, oh, we're not sure. So it kept changing. So then even I filming, and I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be.
But this was incredible.
Fuck you!
What's up, my box triples, droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and I am joined by my one and only lovely, amazing, greatest person ever co-host, Miss Jessi Milestone.
Wee, so amazing you couldn't even remember who I was.
I remembered. I was trying to come up with like another like descriptive word, and I was like blah 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 blah. I think I said all.
Sister from another mister.
Oh, there you go.
Partner,
like adjectives, they're not coming to me right now.
wife.
Can you like up your? Did you get your mic fixed? Because I can barely hear you.
Shit.
Oh, there we go. That's better.
I'm in my relaxed state. I was telling Anna one of the nice things about not being on camera. Sometimes I've been having back issues the past few days, and so I'm kind of kicked back a little more than usual. I move the mic to be closer to me.
Lazy Jessi today. So we have a couple super chats that came in. Excuse me, Jandon Patterson. Sorry, I'm getting the hiccups now. Thank you for the super chat. Guess what day it is? Happy Hump Day, ladies, and everyone in the stream. Well, thank you, and happy Wednesday to you as well.
Happy Wednesday.
Hello. And then I think I saw another one from Doomatron. Thank you for the super chat, Doomatron. Make sure you sign up for Anna's new art channel. Yes. Everyone, if you haven't already, go subscribe over to my art channel. Let me get the link for it, and I will share it in the chat. Also, it is one of my featured channels over on the side. If you're just on my main channel page, here you go. And videos have been coming out every day. It's been kind of a new type of hell, trying to get like a video drawn or like a drawing drawn, edit the video, upload it, make sure the thumbnail and everything in it all matches the previous ones. It's been an adventure, but I'm enjoying it. It's nice having like a channel that has like scheduled daily content and it's all professional done. Yeah.
Nice feeling.
What was that?
That's a nice feeling. I got really excited, like doing the shit pancake stuff for the same reason. It was just fun to have like a new and different project, something that was like, yeah, like this daily thing that was just different, different from what I'd been working on, and like something to look forward to putting out, every week.
It's fun because you get to be creative as compared to like our main channels. I feel like we kind of, because we talk about news and like stuff that's coming out. So it's kind of reliant on somebody else or, what's going on in the world. And so then we are like responding and reacting to that. Whereas this, it's like we're creating. Not to say we're not creating stuff on our main channels, but it's like
terms,
What was that?
It's on our terms.
Yes, exactly.
It feels nice. It's like, this is my idea, this is my vision, and I can see it through, and I can see it through exactly the way I want it to be, too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so I've just had a ton of fun doing that. But everyone, there's 132 people in here. Please smash the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. And it helps, like, just the show, the channel, and it's gonna be exciting these next couple weeks because somebody has a birthday coming up, right, Jessi?
This is true. This is true. Several somebodies actually that we know.
Yeah, everyone's birthday is coming up. So next week it's Jeff's birthday. So Jessi and Jeff are going to be celebrating. Jeff's mother is coming to town. So the next week's show is actually going to be held here again. And then the week after that, it will be on Jessi's channel.
Because somebody else is having a birthday then.
Yeah. I will be out of town for my birthday, everyone. So it's going to be a bit different, but just wanted to let everyone know straight off the bat. Jeremiah Hessian, thank you for the super chat, came in late. It's been very eye-opening seeing the hate leveled at Gal. I hope she sticks with Cleopatra. Love your rants. And well, thank you. And that is a great lead-in to the first topic of the day. So Jessi is not aware of any of this that's been going on. And I think Jessi is actually going to have some great insight for this, being not that you need to have like the same like cultural or religious beliefs as someone, but all the stuff that's going on. So Jessi, do you know what a Zionist is?
Yes, I do actually. I'm very
okay. I had no idea what that was until this topic came up, but can you kind of explain to me and then the audience what that word means?
So Zionism it's kind of like the Jewish version of Go Back to Africa, in a weird way. Well, there was the actual Back to Africa movement briefly in the 80s and whatnot, and Zionism's been around since actually before the Nation of Israel, though, and it's a part of Judaism where people believe that all Jews are supposed to return to Zion. Zion's the promised land, so Jerusalem, Israel, in the case of today's thinking. But Zionists don't believe that all of the Jewish people should go live together as one nation in the same place, essentially. And there's a lot of different factions of Zionism. And so it can be really different depending on who you talk to, because there are definitely like cuckoo Zionists who are like the Jewish supremacy version of like Zionism, I guess. And that's one of their biggest criticisms, is that like there are radical versions where it does become like Jewish supremacy, but the majority of Zionists just think that it's important for Jews to live in Israel together, to be together and safe. So that's sort of the perception tends to go very negative.
Okay, so that's what is it like a negative connotation when it's being used by like a non-Jew?
If a non-Jew is accusing someone of being a Zionist, it's usually anti-Semitic. Usually they're doing it. They're basically trying to say, because again, Zionism gets that rap of being this, the Jewish supremacy movement. And so when somebody's accusing someone else of being a Zionist, they're basically accusing them of thinking that Jews are superior, typically. And it's usually comes from anti-Semitism.
All right. Well, everyone, you heard that from Jessi. No, Jessi is not aware of what's going on with Gal Gadot and Cleopatra. So, everyone, you're about to hear once I show Jessi what I'm about to show her. We're probably going to get a big Jessi rant. So everyone, if you have children in the room, you probably want to remove them or put headphones in, because she's probably going to start cussing when she sees what I'm about to show her. So Jessi, Gal Gadot got cast as Cleopatra, right?
Cool.
So she's going to be doing a new movie with Patty Jenkins, who is directed Wonder Woman, and they're going to be doing, I think it's like a biopic or like just, a movie about Cleopatra and Cleopatra's life.
Yeah.
And Gal Gadot announced that on Twitter. So I have Data Racer's tweets pulled up, or Data Racer, compiles all of these tweets. Yeah. So do you want to read this?
Gal Gadot is receiving harassment for being cast as Cleopatra. SJWs are calling her a dumb white bitch and a piece of shit Zionist. Woke culture being anti-Semitic while not knowing Cleopatra was Greek. Fucking wow. Also, Gal Gadot is Israeli.
They get into that. Just it gets worse.
You can see Egypt from Israel. I have stood in Israel and looked at Egypt. What is fucking wrong with these people? That just shows how goddamn fucking ignorant they are. This is just fucking ignorance.
It gets worse.
Oh my God. Okay.
So this is what Gal said. I love embarking on new journeys. I love the excitement of new projects, the thrill of bringing new stories to life. Cleopatra is a story I wanted to tell for a very long time. Can't be more grateful about this A-team at Patty Jenkins, at Paramount Picks, all of these things. And then this is Deadline announcing it. Cleopatra, epic to re-team Wonder Woman's Gal Gadot. Patty Jenkins, Paramount wins wild auction. And then this is what people are saying. Can you read it, or do I don't know if I can zoom in anymore.
I can read it. Yeah.
Okay. So it says, at Gal Gadot, die.
Wow.
I hate your guts. When will Gal Gadot die? Fuck you, Gal Gadot. I fucking hate you, girl. Eat my shit, you fuckface. Fuck you. You don't deserve this honor, bitch. Cleopatra would rather die again instead of seeing this disaster. Fuck you. Really? The basic boring woman as Cleopatra. No woman of color was available. Disgusting. Fuck Gal Gadot and at Patty Jenkins for this tone-deaf and insulting choice. Never forget the stupid #imagine mess. Jesus Christ. Gal Gadot, I hate you, dumb bitch. Gal Gadot, dumb bitch. Go fuck yourself, Gal. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck off, you colonizing war criminal ass bitch.
Wow.
You ruin everything. I hate you. Also, Gal Gadot can choke. XX. Wanted to tell this for a long time. Bitch, it's not yours to tell. Laugh my ass off. Do you want to read this page?
Sure. Holy shit. Girl, fuck you and #Israel. I just fucking love this. Love hating on Israel. It's so much fun. Shut up, Zionist. I'd gladly hate on a Zionist. Gal Gadot can suck my dick, I guess. I don't care if Cleopatra was Greek, but picking a boring, untalented white Zionist woman to play her. Shut the fuck up, you Zionists. Get her Zionist ass out of the entertainment industry ASAP. Friendly reminder that Gal Gadot is a piece of shit Zionist. Miss Zionist, you can't act to save your life. STFU Zionist, girl, this is not your story to tell. Sit your Zionist ass down. Whitewashing Zionist propaganda. Your Zionist ass needs to to turn down the role, give it to someone who fits Cleopatra's ancestry. Ha ha ha. Maybe you should learn Cleopatra's ancestry before you run your fucking mouth. Not that Zionist freak cast someone else. I don't hate Gal Gadot because she's a woman. I hate her because she's a Zionist. So they got the Zionist white woman who can't act for shit to play Cleopatra. Okay, so Gal Gadot's father is a 6th generation Israeli. Yes, both her parents were born in Israel. Her on their mother's side, she's whatchamacallit. On her mother's side, her grandparents were born in Europe. But her grandfather on that European side also survived Auschwitz. And so, yes, while she is of primarily European Jewish descent, her dad's family has been in Israel for generations. Since, certainly they are not, you're 6th generation in Israel, in that land, they're not European anymore. And also, like, you're talking about someone who grew up in Israel, lived in Israel, who has been discriminated against. I mean, you're as about minority as you can get in this tiny little country surrounded by enemies. And now she's got to deal with this bullshit just because people don't understand her stances on things and have decided that Zionism is some evil, terrible, fucking racist thing. People need to fuck themselves. This is.
There's a few more pages of this.
And Jeremy, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to look up right now, too, is whether or not Gal Gadot is an outspoken Zionist in any way.
I don't believe she is, but Jeremy or Jeremiah Hessian, I think the Super Chat follow-up has Gal come out as a Zionist, #R Wonder Woman. Yeah, I feel like people don't even know, because I didn't know what this word was. I had never heard this. When I hear the word Zion, I think of Zion National Park. So when I saw this, I was like, what on...
Fun fact, by the way, Zion National Park takes its name from that idea, because, a lot of Mormonism draws a lot of their, like, stories and stuff from a lot of their names, naming and whatnot. They draw a lot of that from the Old Testament, older scripture and stuff like that. And so Zion is... Ibrahim says Zion is a mountain. Is that supposed to be the mountain that the 10 Commandments came from? that it might be. Yeah, so Zion National Park is actually named for the same Zion that Zionists refer to.
Okay, see, that makes a little bit more sense if that's like Zion has to do with the promised land, and then
That was the idea. The Mormons who named the park, they thought it was such a beautiful place that it was basically the promised land. It's kind of like naming it Eden, basically.
Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense. But like when I was reading this, I'm like, I don't understand what this is because I'd never heard this before. So I was like, okay, so is this supposed to be? Well, obviously, when you're saying you're a Zionist bitch, that obviously is meant to be an insult. But I feel like so many people just don't understand the ramifications of what saying something like this to somebody means.
Calling Gadot, the reason they're calling her a Zionist is because based on what I can, unless she has said things, someone I've found on Quora is Gal Gadot a Zionist, and someone's answer from 2018 says I wondered the same thing and did some digging. The only evidence I've seen all the blogs citing is from her Instagram post about Hamas in 2014. That can be construed in various ways, not enough for belief to identify as acts like a Zionist. So let's see. However, critiques I've read open my eyes and be a bitter taste and disappointment when I watch Wonder Woman, when I see a TV appearance, whatever, because all you guys think Palestine is some fucking Palestinians are all amazing human beings and never do anything wrong, and Israelis are all evil devils, when the reality is the vast majority of both are perfectly good people, and it's the governments that cause the issues. Government on one side, terrorist organization not recognized as a government by the UN, Israel, or the United States on the other side, which people love to forget too, that literally the current leadership for Palestine right now is Hamas, which is actually a terrorist organization. So I don't know what she may or may not have said about Hamas in 2014, but it was probably something along those lines. And guess what? Hating a terrorist organization doesn't fucking make you a Zionist. Also, being a Zionist doesn't make you a bad person. The thing is, the bad Zionists are the ones that believe Israel belongs to Jews alone, and all the Palestinians should get kicked out. Now, there's also Zionists who believe those more extreme things that still aren't bad people. There are still people who just think, okay, well, Israel was promised the Jews and it's our land. And it's just the same way that people in other faiths get, they latch onto something from the Bible and believe it wholeheartedly, even if there's no real world evidence for it. They just insist on it, like, I don't know, gay people are evil and the worst and should die, when I'm pretty sure all the stuff in the Bible is about sodomy and not homosexual lifestyles, which are very, very different things if you want to start splitting hairs. But people latch onto their ideals and they want to ride them to the end of days. So there is stuff in the Bible about, a stronghold for the Israeli people and the promised land and all that stuff. So there are Zionists who just cling onto that idea of like, oh, God promised us this land, so it should be for the Jews. They don't have any hatred towards Palestinians. They don't act bigoted in their lives. They just have this archaic belief, this antiquated biblical idea, of this sort of land right, this birthright. But there are very few actual people outside of orthodoxy and extremism on both sides of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict that just want the country reserved for one or the other. The majority of people and the people living their daily lives in Israel/Palestine all the time are regular human beings who want to get along, who want to share have no fucking problem living hand in hand with each other, living next door to each other, sharing the land. They just want all this bullshit to be over because they're sick of fucking going out in fear of getting knifed in their marketplaces and bombed in their homes and being used as, tactical cover for military assholes who don't only care about their goddamn agendas and having more and not fucking compromising. And look, I just because I'm not gung-ho pro-Palestine does not mean I give Israel a pass either. It was Israeli extremists that has executed Yitzhak Rabin in the 90s and destroyed Israel's last real hope for peace in the Middle East. Like, Yitzhak Rabin was an incredible leader. He was brokering a peace with Yasser Arafat that was palatable for most people. Some Jewish people felt like it was giving up too much, but it was a fair split that the Israelis and the Palestinians were going to come together on and actually broker a real peace. And fucking Israeli extremists were the ones who fucking shot him because they didn't want to give up any of their precious land to the Arabs. And for all the Yasser Arafat's flaws, he did legitimately want to try to create some sort of peace, and that destroyed all those talks. Talks broke down after that. It really soured the relationships between Palestine and led to Hamas taking over because of this radicalized hatred after the talks broke down on that Palestinian front, which opened the door for Hamas to radicalize and sort of take control of the narrative for the Palestinians, which put them in a position of not wanting to compromise. So the whole thing is, it's when people try to point fingers and say it's your fault, well, it's Israel's fault because they're displacing Palestinians, or it's Palestine's fault because they're the ones, you know, who are not supposed to be there. Like it goes back so far. Berserk, that's not true. That's just a false statement. That's a lie. Trump didn't get any peace deal done. Trump's actually made the situation worse because he's been vehemently pro-Israel, which is all fine and dandy, but it doesn't help the situation. It's just like in our country right now. It's the same shit where, like, it doesn't help anybody to get political right now. It doesn't make anything better to throw your lot in with Trump or with Biden to start screaming about politics or screaming about anything other than just go vote. Well, the second you start vote for this person, vote for that person, whatever, you're just part of the problem. You're just polarizing. It's the same fucking thing in Israel right now, and I'm so fucking sick of all this, like, well, the Palestinians are the bad guys, the Israelis are the saints. Oh no, the Israelis are all evil, and anyone who's from Israel, or like, it's this fucking bigoted bullshit. It's this retarded ass idea that we've somehow come to, that it is okay to discriminate against people from Israel who like Israel simply because they're from fucking Israel. That's not fucking anti-Semitism. I don't know what fucking is. Sorry, I know it's like a really long-winded rant, but I'm so fucking over. Like, every fucking day, every fucking week, there's some new piece of news that just goes, hey, look, it's okay to hate the Jews. I mean, everyone fucking freaked out when Trump was getting elected, making the Hitler comparison, saying, oh, look, it's the end of times. And look, I mean, he could be part of it because he certainly ain't going to fucking stop it. He's not going to stick his neck out for anyone else. But Christ, it's the fucking left that's coming for us right now. Now, how do we fucking feel safe when the people who are supposedly fight against oppression are the ones oppressing us? And our supposed liberators, the people who are going to bring great and equal tomorrow, don't think the Jews have a fucking place in it. Our core belief, our corely held tenet in our faith is the belief in Israel, is the belief in our chosen land, in a place. And the reason we have that belief is not because we're this self-aggrandizing race of people, which is the bullshit, those bullshit garbage that everyone has. Everyone looks at the Jews and goes like, oh, they're so entitled. They have these beliefs that they're the chosen ones, that they're so special, they're so wonderful, ththey're so incredible. You ever read Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings? Fucking can't stand that book. Fucking don't like Maya Angelou, but there's something very specific that happens in this book that she writes, right? It's very self-aggrandizing. This woman, very young at the time, who went through hell, who was raped, who was dealing with, very, very pre-civil rights America, she's so sweet on herself. She's so self-important. That's part of it. Does rub me the wrong way reading it sometimes, but I get it. I understand it because she was in such a shitty situation that if she didn't think these things about herself, if she didn't believe these things about herself, how would she have gotten through it? And that's the Jews. There are fewer Jewish people in the entire fucking world, than there are gay people in this country. And so we have this identity. We have this belief in togetherness, in propping each other up, in taking care of each other, and in having a protected homeland, in having a place, a fortress, someplace we can go to be safe, which is why it's a hilarious irony that we're surrounded by enemies where they decided to plop Israel. Thanks, Britain. And this is not about self-aggrandize. It's not about thinking we're better than other people or being the chosen people or any of this shit. This is about having it's surviving. This is about survival. It's about the basic need for survival. One of your basic human needs: water, food, shelter. This is shelter. This is about having a fucking shelter for our fucking people. And that's what's up. And it's bullshit that this desire to be protected, literally the desire that SJWs claim they fight for, this utter desire to just be protected, to have the right to live, is the fucking thing that the SJWs hate us for. Why? Because we have a legitimate reason? Because there's actually thousands of years of a history of oppression against the Jewish people, so our fucking desire to be protected is legitimate, and you guys can't fucking stand that? The fucking whiny snowflakes in the world cannot fucking stand somebody having a legitimate claim, saying, yeah, look, my people are actually fucking oppressed. I am treated differently because I'm Jewish. I have been hated on the internet. I've dealt with rampant anti-Semitism all over the internet and face to my face in my life just because I'm fucking Jewish. But no, I'm not allowed to experience that. I'm not allowed to, because my privilege in other regards means that my actual experience is rooted in thousands of years of real fucking oppression. Oh yes, slavery was a big part of that, assholes. Doesn't fucking matter. So that just pisses me off. Anyway.
Well, I like you, Jessi, and anyone that's mean to you just because you're Jewish can go fuck off.
Mm-hmm. They can. Thank you, Anna. Berserk Guts is, I think, drunk, but having fun, and I'm glad he has the Jews back. I think that he's in a place of intoxication where he feels like I'm speaking specifically to him. So he's like, I got the Jews back, because I think he's like, don't yell at me about this. I know, I get it. And probably doesn't remember that there's an internet that I'm yelling at too.
Okay.
Really entertaining. That's like, honestly, Berserk Guts, your chats have been like keeping me smiling and not breaking things.
Baltimore guy, thank you for super chat. Am of Jewish heritage, mostly British but American. Gal Gadot is Israeli Middle Eastern by GPS.
I mean, she is. She's Israeli. That's the whole thing. Like, she's the whole. That's the whole thing too. It's like, is Charlize Theron not African because she's not black? You know, are South Africans less African because they're not black? Are Israelis less Israeli, less Middle Eastern because they're not brown? Like, at what point is that identity? And it kind of goes into the Jewish, ethnicity versus identity, versus religion debate as well, where it's like, if you are originally of European descent, but your father's family has been living in Israel for however many generations, your mother is a born Israeli, you are now a second generation Israeli on that side, like, at what point does her being white mean less than her being Israeli or Middle Eastern? At what point is she not even white anymore per se? Like, South Africans, yes, there are white South Africans. We never tried to say they were black. But at what point, it's like it's the mixed question too. Like, at what point is she mixed enough, and has she lived in that land enough that it's hers? Like, are you saying that immigrants aren't American because Americans are traditionally, if we're not Native American, we're not American? Because Americans are traditionally look a certain way. The traditional people in America look a certain way, have certain features, and if we don't have enough of that DNA in common, then I guess we're just not American anymore. I mean, that's racist. Like, these ways of breaking it down are all racist that they're doing. So
It's just, there's a bunch of cowards on the internet that would never have the balls to say this directly to her face. If anything, they would just be starstruck.
Of course they would.
And they'd be like, oh my God, can you sign this? Can you take my picture? Can we take a selfie? Kind of stuff. But people they don't have any ramifications for their actions anymore because they're able to hide behind a computer screen.
They fucking love their pictures and think they're the greatest things, and then go home and get outraged by the next thing that person said, and then turn around and post those pictures as an excuse to go, it makes me so sick that I ever talked to you and liked you. Oh, I'm ashamed of this, as you post it all over social media.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of people that are saying things that are very uneducated, that just say it because they can. And they feel, self-important, and they don't understand that there are ramifications for their actions. I mean, people have committed suicide over, the hate mob that comes after them. And so,
I know of somebody in the gaming industry. I have a friend who works in the gaming industry and actually knows Anita Sarkeesian personally and stuff. And but there was somebody in his field who was, I think it came out that he was wrongly Me Too'd also, like, afterwards. But it was also unclear even when it was happening, like, if he had actually done anything wrong, and if the thing he did wrong was what he was being accused of and all this stuff. But bottom line is, he was harassed to the point where he did kill himself, and he wasn't even guilty of what he was being accused of doing. And people are comfortable with that for some reason. People feel like, I mean, that's what I really want to know is, everyone's sitting here saying, die, bitch, I hope you die, whatever. If Gal Gadot, God forbid, got hit by a bus tomorrow and died, how would these people feel? Because if they would go good riddance, then they're sick humans. I mean, how do you call yourself a member of the human race at that point? If your attitude towards somebody dying is good riddance, why? Because she's born in Israel. Because she's from Israel, and she hasn't disavowed the country of her nationality simply because you don't like it. So you think it's an acceptable cost for a human being to fucking die because you don't like the country they're from. And if that's not bigotry, I don't know what is. I really don't. I really don't. I'm at a fucking loss. If that's where we're at. We're literally at a point where people who want to call themselves progressive, who have the fucking nerve to label themselves progressive, wish death on somebody because she's from a country they don't like. Let's really think about those words. Wishing death on somebody because they're from a country you don't like. Wow. Fucking wow.
Oh, this is a nice message for you.
Tell Jessi, as an LDS Mormon, I have great love for Jews and the Palestine. Aw, and she has my love and joy for her and my sympathy and love for her. Oh, well, thank you. Thanks, really sweet, David S. I actually know a few Mormons. There's a guy, shockingly, he runs all of our Big Salt Lake City tournaments, because he lives in Salt Lake, but he's practicing Mormon. He went through hell a few years ago with a really, really ugly divorce. That was really hard on him, but he's stuck with his faith, and he got his kids back after a really, really gross and bitter thing, and he's a great dad too. So I have nothing bad to say about him.
And I saw somebody say this. I can't highlight it because it was hidden on YouTube, so it won't appear on here. But saying that because somebody did a video that they deserve to be harassed and called I don't know if this would be considered a racial slur, but I guess a religious slur. That doesn't, just because somebody did something like a month ago that you disagree with does not justify them getting harassed.
Yeah. What did she do that people disagree with?
The Imagine video. So some people say, oh, she deserves this because she did the Imagine video. I'm like,
because she did a tasteless video. Because she did a tasteless video that just showed her as out of touch with regular people's experiences, she now deserves to die. Wow. Again, think about what you're saying. Really think about that. It's not as bad as because she's from a country I don't like, she deserves to die. But it's pretty fucking bad. Oh, yeah, she totally deserves harassment. Imagine if that was the world we lived in. Every time somebody...
That is the world we live in, because somebody said it here in the chat right now, that they said that it's okay for her to get harassed.
Yeah, that is actually the world we live in. That's kind of fucked up. That's the actual
harassment. It doesn't matter if somebody did something that you don't. Okay, so I hate politics, right? I still don't think any politician deserves to be harassed unless they're actually even like somebody that's committing like a horrible crime. They deserve to go to prison. They deserve to be locked in jail for the rest of their life. Like somebody that's exploiting children. That's like.
If somebody like commits a really, really heinous crime and then say the president pardons him and he's just walking around acting like he owns the fucking world because he knows he literally got away with murder or some shit like that, and you want to harass him on the streets or restaurant, I'm fine with that. But accepting a very rare circumstance where it's like somebody, you got away with a crime and you know they did and they're suffering no consequences for a heinous act that everyone knows they did. This business of just because you hate your politicians, write to them, call them. You have ways. You have avenues to, quote, harass them in acceptable manners. Like, you are encouraged to, in fact, harass them using those official lines like phone calls and writing campaigns and things like that. That is how politics happen. You are not encouraged to approach them at a restaurant where they're sitting with their fucking children and start swearing at them when they're just out. They're still human fucking beings. I don't like a lot of politicians. I don't care if I saw the ones I hated the most. The worst thing I would do is maybe if I walk by their table at the end of my meal or something, maybe like under my breath, give like a parting shot or just something like that. That's the worst, the most extreme version. Someone where like I want to throttle them to death with my bare hands. That's as extreme as I'll go in public, is maybe like a under my breath little like, oh yeah, asshole kind of remark. Because I think it's just so unconscionably rude and self-centered to not realize that this is just a person going about their fucking day. Like, leave them alone. They're just like you. Your life isn't your work. Like, how would you like if you were it's the same shit too. It's like, they're telemarketers. Just because somebody annoys you by calling you for their job, that doesn't mean they deserve to get harassed. That doesn't mean that you should find them.
Well, no, that's their job. They're literally told, here's a list of phone numbers, call them and try to sell them something.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's like,
it's not that that person took that job, but I mean, at the end of the day, they need to pay their bills, they need to eat, they need shelter and stuff.
And honestly, politicians have a lot more considerations. I'm not making excuses for them, because I do think politicians are mostly bad people, but there are a lot more considerations that go into their decision-making process than just, what does Joe Schmo down the street want me to do? And Joe Schmo down the street didn't get his way, so now Joe Schmo's going to come spit in my water while I'm trying to enjoy a nice meal with my family. That's yeah. So
it's just, like condoning it. Like that's something that's been bothering me, is people that saying, oh, she did an Imagine video, which we don't even know if that was her idea. It could have been her agent's idea, saying, hey, we got to get you in the public eye. How do we do this? Oh, here are all the other people I'm representing, or that are represented from our agency, our talent agency. Why don't we do something like this where we can like compile a video, and then I don't know.
The thing is, though, like, it wasn't like a bad idea, you know? It wasn't like it was a rude or mean thing that hurt people that she did. It's not like she came out and like did something damaging or mean or cruel or accidentally made cuties or some shit like that. Like, it was a well-intended idea. It's not even like it was a let them eat cake kind of moment where it was like, it was that out of touch. Like, the idea itself wasn't even out of touch. This idea of like, I'm having an introspective moment. I am feeling a certain way. I want to share this with the world. It's just, and in some ways I feel for her about that, because I do think there's an element where it's like, maybe also because she's not American and she's not as used to the way our culture is about stardom, maybe, you know, where it's like, we have this, maybe in other countries, it's a more regular thing to look at actors as just like you know, as like, oh, they're just like other people. In our country, we are so obsessed with not seeing them like just like us. We are so obsessed with seeing them as these other things, as these like hashtag goals, as our role models, partially because our consumerist-driven culture has taught us to believe that, so that they can use those people to sell us shit. I mean, really, that's the main reason why we believe those things. But that's why we have a culture, a consumer-driven culture, that tells us that we're supposed to look up to and idolize these people and not feel like they're accessible to us, and not feel like they are attainable, because we always want to strive to attain them. And so when we watch our heroes do something approachable and human, like, oh, it's a shit time, I've been thinking about the world, and just, you know, like, anyone could have done that during quarantine. Anyone could have sat in their house thinking about how rough the world was and humming Imagine to themselves, because it's a beautiful song that makes you think about wishing for a better world. There was a moment during the pandemic where it got stuck in my head. And I think I started singing it to myself because, like, God, that's feels, you know? So I get it. I get how she could be sitting here at the beginning of this pandemic going, God, this song's giving me the feels right now. I want to share it. And put it out there. It's not like, and that was the whole thing. Everyone's like, oh,
also, I think it has to do with that. That's actually like an easy song for everyone to sing. Like, you don't have to have an incredible vocal range. So that might have been why. Because my thought, I'm like, okay, I get what you're trying to do, but I would have gone the funny route and like had everyone sing the Lazy Song by Bruno Mars.
Oh God, yeah, that'd been perfect.
Could you, all of those celebrities, instead of doing, oh, let's try to get deep, what if they all just did something funny and they were making fun of themselves? And it's like, hey, all of us celebrities that don't look like we're at the red carpet right now, and we're all just kind of fucking around in home and we're being lazy. That would have been funny.
Oh yeah. I could also see, like, if she had gone the Imagine route, but she had gotten regular people, you know, if she had figured out some outreach, put out a casting call, something like that, and made a compilation of a bunch of like regular people all coming together, being hopeful, or a mix of some of her celebrity friends and regular people, showing this whole like, yeah, look, we're the same, we're all going through this together, we've got each other's backs kind of attitude. Instead, it came across as like, oh my God, poor us, celebrities. But the thing is, I don't think that was the intention, you know? And so that's why it's like, I think it's so ridiculous that people are so mad at her over it. Like, yeah, making fun of it, sure, it's definitely worth lampooning, it's definitely worth parodying. It was a funny out of touch moment, you know, in celebrity culture. But I don't think she did anything bad or wrong or deserves to be like rebuked for it. I certainly don't think she deserves to be harassed for it. That to me is just absurd. Like, we need to get over as a culture this idea that it is okay, acceptable, and good and desirable to punish other people for not, just simply for not doing the things we want them to do, for not being the way we want them to be, for these idiotic, intangible things. Like,
well, I think one of the big problems is that people get ideas in their head of what they want or what they think the celebrity that they might admire is like, and then the second they stray from their idea, it breaks their little own fantasy, and so people lose their mind. Like, just this, everything up on the screen with all the people that are upset because she's cast as Cleopatra. I thought when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's really smart for the studio to do. You know, she because there's some actors or actresses that they just are really good in period pieces. And so what that means is like when it's not set in modern times. I think Gal Gadot is a really good choice to play Cleopatra. That's a very smart move. My mother is definitely going to go see that because my mother loved Wonder Woman. She loves Gal Gadot. She loves historical films. I saw that. I'm like, my mom's going to love this. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely gonna be a mom pleaser. And I agree with you. I think she definitely has that, whatever you want to call it, where she does feel like she could belong in any era. She has a timelessness to her features. And I think too also, like, I mean, if you want to talk about perfect casting choice, here's somebody who, is of European descent, who it lives in the Middle East. Amazing. It's kind of like Cleopatra. It's kind of like she's like the same.
But it's one of the stupidest things. It's like, okay, last time I heard, Eddie, what's his face, isn't a genius mathematician and quantum physicist, and didn't have ALS, but he was in the Theory of Everything, and he did a great fucking job playing Stephen Hawking.
We ought to hate him because he cross-dressed with the Danish Girl, and even though he was phenomenal in that, and it was a brilliant movie that told a very touching story, we have to hate him because we're not allowed to like cisgendered people playing trans people.
I hate the word cis. I think whenever somebody uses that word, it's like nails to a chalkboard. And my equivalent, whenever somebody says that and like tries to describe like either me or like another straight person, it's just like, would you call a black person the N-word? No, you wouldn't. So don't fucking say that word. It makes me so angry. The first time I heard it, because I was like, I thought they were saying like cis, like sister. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I was explained to what that word means. And I remember I was driving and I was fucking livid and I was just screaming. And we were in deadlock or, freaking LA traffic. So we weren't moving. And people in the cars next to me were looking through their window at me because I was just going off. So I was like, fuck that stupid word.
Yeah, honestly, to me, it's a hate term. It was created.
It is, yeah.
Being a divisive, hateful word. It was never used before that. That's, to me, it's like, people are like, well, it's just in science, it's just the opposite of trans. Like, that's great. That's awesome. And hooray. But, and that's fine for the scientific community. I accept it 100% when you're using it to describe scientific terms. But when it's used to describe people, people want to talk about this shit all the time with language. People want to talk about all the time the origin of language. Well, the term gyp isn't used to be hateful towards gypsies anymore, but it's the origin of it. The origin of the whole phrase was to be hateful towards gypsies. So we can't use that word anymore because it's a hate word. Great. The origin of the word cis was to hate on non-trans people. It's the entire reason that word exists, was to try to make non-trans people feel bad about not being trans. And if that's not a hateful origin, I don't know what is. So
it's just, if you're that insecure about something that you need to make up another word as a slur for something else.
Exactly. To me, it's like, you're clearly not that secure in your identity. If you need to hate speech to refer to people who are not like you. Can't love your identity all that much, because if you love yourself, you don't need to hate people who are different from you. That's
to get back on the topic of movies, because this is something like, we heard you go off, you'll hear me go off if I have to start talking about this, because it's just absolutely infuriating. But it's I'll probably get into it. It's one of those things. It's like, I don't care what gender you identify as. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care. As long as you're not like physically harming people, as long as you're not committing crimes, I don't care. Go do your life and do what makes you happy. But the second you start fucking with my life because you're unsatisfied in your own life, that's when we have a problem. Coming up with terminology to describe me that was not necessary, that didn't exist before, just because you're so insecure and miserable in your own fucking life that you need to make somebody else's life worse. Fuck you. No, that word is a hate word. I just can't. It just pisses me off. But to get back into the movie making and thing, it doesn't matter what an actor, actress looks like, maybe it does, if they need to play like a certain type of character. But there's people that lose weight for roles because they're playing an anorexic character, or they're playing somebody that's like dying of AIDS, like Matthew McConaughey did for Dallas Buyers Club. And then there's people that gain weight for certain roles, like Matt Damon did it for that one movie. That's just off of the top of my head. So sometimes looks does matter, especially in Hollywood, to sell movies. Like if you're getting somebody to play Superman and it doesn't look like Henry Cavill, I don't know what you're doing, but that guy better be super hot. But at the end of the day, I mean, Henry Cavill is not a Kryptonian alien that's been living on Earth. He's a fucking actor. That's their job, is that they're acting. It doesn't matter as long as they, as far as the director, as long as they have chemistry with the other actors and actresses that they're going to work with, because sometimes when the chemistry isn't there, it ruins a film. But it does, as long as they're good at their job, right?
I got news for them. Pretty sure that because we looked this up, if they want to start considering, because I mean, basically what I'm hearing from this is that Mediterranean people are people of color now, because Cleopatra was Greek. So if we're considering Mediterranean to be people of color, well, I mean, look at your girl Gina Carano. She's from Italy. That's Mediterranean. So Gina Carano's not a person of color. Shut up. The end.
There you go. Jeffrey Turner, I saw you sent me two super chats, so let me read those. Thank you for them as well. Thank you for the super chat. So the N word out, C word in, that about right? No. No, they're both out. They're both out.
Except for when the C word is absolutely necessary, because sometimes it is. Let's be real.
Jeffrey Turner, aka, you got rid of the aka Mega Jetty one. Thank you for the super chat. By the way, Jessi, did you get my tweet on ISIS being cast?
I did not. Let me check and see real quick. I haven't been on my social media that much since all the cat stuff and friend stuff and lots of stuff. But let me see. Meg Jetty, here you go. I don't see. I know I missed a few things from you, but blah, blah, blah.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll just kind of talk about this a little bit more. So, for example, okay. What's his face? The dude that I don't really like. Martin Scorsese. He did a movie about Portuguese missionaries going to Japan. Now, my grandma was super excited about this because it's a movie about our people, right? I always talk all the time. I'm Portuguese. I was infuriated at the fact that they cast two actors that I couldn't stand to be in this movie, because I'm like, fuck. Not only is this a Martin Scorsese movie, which I'm not a fan of his in the slightest. Aside from Wolf of Wall Street, I have not enjoyed any of his films.
Oh, I love Scorsese.
I cannot stand his. I think it's because I don't like the genre. If he were to do a different genre, maybe it would work.
You don't like crime? You don't like crime genre stuff?
I like crime drama. I hate mobster movies.
Yeah. Okay. Really? All mobster movies?
Yep.
Like
I think if somebody wanted to torture me for information, they would make me watch The Godfather.
God, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I hate that movie. I fucking hate it.
So good. I love mob movies. He's done a few very different. Did you ever see Taxi Driver? Because I feel like you might actually like that one.
I did a long, long time ago, and it made me uncomfortable.
I can imagine, but that one does seem more up your alley in terms of for like his work. He did a really good one called Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore that I don't think is really your kind of movie. But that was his when people were. It's funny because it was the best movie watched in my women in film class, and it was specifically the movie he made because his friends were like, "You can't make a chick movie," because he had made Mean Streets, and he was this. It was one of those like immediate pivots, like made his first big film, and it's like the what's his face, Dustin Hoffman doing Midnight Cowboy right after The Graduate. So he made Mean Streets, which was his like gritty gangster film. It's very autobiographical in a lot of ways, and then turned around and made Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore because everyone was like, "Well, that's great, but you'll never make a chick movie." Turned around and fucking did that right away. I still haven't seen Casino.
Oh, Goodfellas, fuck that movie. I was told, my friend was like, this is my favorite movie. It's going to be so much fun. We watched it, and I was like, I would rather, without any numbing, pull out all of my toenails than watch this movie again.
Great movie.
Fucking hated that movie. But anyway, back to my point. So he did a movie called Silence, which is about Portuguese monastery or missionaries going to Japan to try to spread the word of Catholicism in Japan. Now, in that casting, there was Liam Neeson, who's supposed to be a Portuguese man, and then it was Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver. I was infuriated because I hate both of them. You can say they're good actors. I cannot stand them. I don't like them. I don't like their movies that I've seen them in. And they might be the best actors in the world, but I can't stand them. And I was kind of pissed because I'm like, really? Those are the guys that you cast? I get it. They're dramatic. They're good in those intense situations. But it pissed me off. And first off, don't like Martin Scorsese. But I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm going to have to watch this with my grandma. And these are supposed to be, people that are, Portuguese men representing my people, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't care that these people weren't Portuguese. I just didn't like the actors. I liked the fact that I was like, ooh, cool, Liam Neeson's going to be in this movie. And I don't watch it based on, because I honestly don't know. I think Andrew Garfield is British. But it wasn't the point of me not liking it because of what their heritage was. It was because I don't like them as actors. Mm-hmm. I just don't like watching them. I don't like their movies. There's some actors and actresses that, you just genuinely, they might be great, but there's something about them that you don't like Hilary Swank. I don't like her.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't really care for her either, actually.
I liked $1 Million Baby. I thought that was, it was a good movie, but I cannot stand her. There's something about her face that I can't take her seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Hold on real fast.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I hear you. I don't know. I like Scorsese a lot. I was just taking a look at his filmography. Do you guys in the chat? What is your favorite?
Sorry about that. Boyfriend wanted me to try something that he made.
While we were talking, to drop their favorite Scorsese movie in the chat, just to piss you off.
Okay, but my point was, it's like they could have cast, this Scottish man to play. I don't know if Andrew Garfield is Scottish or not, but they could have cast anyone else, and I probably personally, I don't like the movie because I don't like Martin Scorsese.
I love Scorsese and actually really like Adam Driver. So,
and I can't stand him. So if it was anyone else, and again, they didn't have to be Portuguese. Yeah. I wish that they would have done different casting, because I was like, ooh, Liam Neeson. I like Liam Neeson. I think he's a good actor. Does it matter that he's not? He doesn't actually live in a galaxy far, far away, and he's not actually a Jedi? No. He plays Qui-Gon pretty damn good, but it just bothered me. And again, it had nothing to do with their ethnicity and the fact that they weren't Portuguese playing Portuguese characters. I just don't like those actors. If they would have cast, let me think of somebody that I like Tom Hiddleston. Obviously not Portuguese. As British freaking come. Yeah. But I like him as an actor. So I probably would have enjoyed that movie better. If Martin Scorsese always fucking works with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, even if they would have been in the movie, 2 Italian dudes, it wouldn't have bothered me. You know?
Seriously.
It's just one of those things that I'm just like, if you don't like the actor or actress for whatever reason, maybe it's you don't like their acting style, even if they are known as good actors. Who's somebody that's known as a really good actor or actress that you just don't like?
God, there's probably a few. I mean, Mel Gibson. That's honestly before all the racism shit came out. There was just something about him I really didn't like. Tim
you don't like Mel Gibson? I love Mel Gibson.
I can't stand Mel Gibson. Even before all the racism shit, there's something about it. I can do him in Braveheart, and I can see he's not. It's not to the point where I can't watch a movie just because he's in it. But I don't think I would ever go out and see a new one of his again, if that makes sense. I can't. I mean, especially when he's out there making just anti-Semitic propaganda bullshit, and then also playing Santa Claus. I'm sorry. After all he's put us through.
Oh yeah, Santa Claus has a whatchamacallit.
Yeah,
an assassin Santa Claus.
I just can't with him. Ted Allen's another one. Tim Allen. Tim Allen's another one who's just always kind of bothered me. Except in Galaxy Quest.
You don't like Tim Allen?
No, I really can't stand him either.
Oh, I love Tim Allen.
Again, it's a Galaxy Quest, I can do him all day long, but I really don't. Like there was all that like Jungle to Jungle and all that shit.
I love that movie.
That's
Oh my goodness, we're like on the opposites. What about an actress that you just don't like that everyone else likes?
the people. Honestly, until the Avengers, Scarlett Johansson. She's really grown on me over the years on this, but until then, I couldn't stand her. Until Black Widow, I could not stand Scarlett Johansson.
You know, before the Avengers, aside from The Prestige, I can't remember what else she was in.
Oh, she was in like a million chick flicks. She was in everything. Home Alone 3. That's where Jeff remembers her from.
What movie?
Home Alone 3. She was in The Island. She was in.
She was in Home Alone 3. Who the hell was she?
She was like what would you say? It was her first movie?
I think so. She's the sister. She has like 5 minutes of screen time. But it's
I don't remember. I have Home Alone 3 on VHS. I do not remember her in that.
Yep.
That's my guilty pleasure movie.
Yeah. But yeah, she she was in like a chick flick that I remember seeing a while ago, and
is it the one where they kill the stripper?
No, I saw that one too though. This one was way older than that. She might have been in. Wasn't she in She's Just Not That Into You, or He's Just Not That Into You? I think she was in that one. It was like it was a well done movie. It was an ensemble cast. And I think she was the one who was. She was like the secretary who was fucking the husband.
Let me read these 2 super chats and then I'm gonna have to go pee because my bladder is about to explode. Maddie Hammond, thank you for the super chat. Interesting, us British always get cast as the baddies because our accents, e.g. the Galactic Empire, yet we don't complain about the stereotyping. Also, you Brits are like taking over Hollywood and I don't really have a problem with it because I love me some Henry Cavill Superman and I don't care that British, sexy British men are playing American characters and then they have their really adorable attempts at American accents. I find it endearing, but I don't have a problem with, some of these, Brits playing sexy Supermen, but it's okay. What do you think, Jessi?
I am totally fine with sexy Brits doing whatever they want to do.
We can still think of super chat.
I do have to say there is something about like that Tom Hiddleston villain, the way he.
Oh yeah.
There's something to that is really, really hot.
Oh, I know. I wasn't expecting to be watching Thor and just being like, holy fuck, why is Loki so damn sexy? And then it's like Tom Hiddleston's voice.
It really is.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's something of, because who was it that was laughing at me when I said, it was a guy, because I was like, oh yeah, Tom Hiddleston's super hot. And they're like, what the fuck? Why? And I was like, just listen to him read poetry, because Audible came out with all of these celebrities reading poetry. And I was like, oh my God, just read to me, Tom.
There are definitely some voices like that where I'm like, yep, I could.
But I mean, there's a lot of
another
British women that play American characters.
There's what?
Like British women that play American characters with American accents. And
I feel like I've been impressed a few times with some of the American accents I've heard.
I had no idea what's his face was British. Batman. Oh my God, what's his name?
Christian Bale. Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale. I was like, what the fuck is? I was watching an interview.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, he's freaking British. This is bullshit.
Well, if you want to get specific, he's Welsh. And
Brits he is. Okay, that makes sense. That's why he's very difficult to understand. I was told Welsh is like certain people from Wales, they're very difficult to understand. He's a very big accent.
Yes, it can be. If it's like a very, very like typically Welsh accent, yeah, it can be. It's weird. It's kind of like I don't know if it's if the candor is the same, but it seems like about as different as like a really thick Southern to like a regular any other more like Mid-Atlantic. I always feel like the Mid-Atlantic accent is like the stereotypical American accent when people think of just like when Americans think of accentless English, it's that like classic Mid-Atlantic one, because that was what was always used in cinema. And I think we take our cues culturally off of that. So I think when we think of accentless English, that's kind of.
We can still think of a super chat. Hey, Anna and Jessi, love you both of your rants, and completely agree with you. Love the history lesson on Israel and Palestine.
Oh, thank you. My very
I enjoyed it too. I was learning a lot of stuff I did not know. And then I also see that Kelsey is here. Hello, Kelsey.
Hey, what's up?
You hear this, American men? Why we got step up our game.
Yes.
You know what? Here's the thing. British guys are cool, but American guys are the best, right, Jessi?
I mean, I'm pretty happy with mine, so how can I disagree with that sentiment? There
you go. Kelsey got a lot of traction on his tweets because we'll finish reading this in a minute. Let me actually pull up his tweets. He showed like a picture of Gal Gadot compared to like Miss Egypt, and he's like, "Wow, it's so terrible that she got cast."
Yeah, darn. Why, she was like 10 times hotter?
Let me find it real fast. Well, it's just like a comparison. It's like, oh my god, she doesn't like. They're all screaming and crying about it. Oh, here we go. Let me find it. Here we go. So it says, Cleopatra was Egyptian, right? Here's a photo of an Egyptian woman and a photo of Gal Gadot. Seems like a no-brainer to me. The movie is going to suck anyway.
Good.
And then everyone was screaming at him. So he said, just so everyone will give it a rest, here's a photo of a Greek woman and a photo of Gal. Big fucking difference. Like, seriously, what's the problem?
People need to chill. People need to seriously chill out. I mean, do they ever once think also, because there's the multiple angles. I mean, we talk about the obvious outrage. Sorry, Lando's trying to eat tape, which is not good. Oh, I should give you guys an update on Lando, by the way. Clearly he's alive because he's eating packaging tape right now, which is not great.
Okay, you do that. I'm going to go run and go pee.
Okay. So, well, Anna goes to pee. The other side of this too, which is the part we don't address as often, but it's just as relevant. We talk about how rude this is to the people that are getting wrongfully attacked over this. We don't even talk about how insensitive it is to, I don't know, actual Egyptians, actual Middle Eastern people, actual people of color who may, in some cases, like in the instance of light-skinned Egyptians, may get wrongfully lumped in with other Egyptians, or with white people, even though they're not. Even though they're born and bred blood Egyptians, Mexicans too. I hear all the time in comedy, light-skinned Mexicans always are doing jokes about like people doubting their Mexicanness because they look white, or quote, passing as white and stuff like that. And that's a version. I mean, that's just, again, it's another version of discrimination to assume somebody's white simply because they look whitish. That's on the nose bigotry that they claim to fight against, pretty much right there. I think, when you're like, okay, well, you're treating somebody a certain way, or making certain assumptions about them based on the color of their skin. The only way we avoid fucking up like this is if we, just don't make assumptions about people based on the color of their skin. And that has to be a two-way street. Otherwise it doesn't work. It can't just be, don't make it about white people, or don't make it about black people, or it has to be all people. Otherwise it just doesn't fucking work. So, and that's the part that people don't want to face, don't want to deal with, don't want to acknowledge. And it doesn't make it any less true. Burying your head in the sand doesn't make the sun go away. So, but people want to act like it does. That's like, I feel like that's 2020, the year. What? Oh no, I'm just talking about about how in order to actually get past all this stuff.
I don't know what's up with Gal Gadot.
Oh, with Gal Gadot, did you hear any of that?
No.
Oh shit, yeah. So apparently she got cast to play Cleopatra. Scorsese's making a Cleopatra movie or something, or not Scorsese.
But I didn't know there was pushback.
There a Cleopatra movie is being, or was it Scorsese that's making it too? I don't know.
I am back. Boyfriend made me pizza.
Oh, hooray for boyfriend! Sorry, Jeff was just asking what had happened with the Gal Gadot. So she got cast.
She's back. I'll get a film later.
She got cast. The shorthand is she got cast to play Cleopatra. Everyone's freaking out because she's not a person of color, even though Cleopatra was Greek, and Gal Gadot's Middle Eastern. But people are freaking out anyway and calling her a Zionist bitch and telling her to die. Like literally, there are pages and pages of tweets of people telling her die Zionist bitch because she's Israeli. Because apparently it's cool to hate on people for being from Israel now. Yep. Yes, it is.
And we're not even done. And then,
full retard.
Hello, Drunk. I see Drunk 3PO himself is in the chat. Hello, Drunk. And I think I saw Mary was in the chat earlier.
I would say her now. I didn't catch her chat, but I did see someone mention her. So I miss
I
you.
know. I saw the at when somebody ats their name.
Yeah, when someone adds them.
I didn't see her comment, but if they added her, that means that she was in the chat. So hello, Mary, if you're still there.
Hopefully.
As I chew.
Huh.
So yeah, we are going to make the transition back here. So do you want to read these or would you like me to read them? Oh, and let me read the super chat. Good morning, ladies. Just sending some love. Thank you, Raging Rhino. Thank you.
Oh, Rhino, we love you. We love you very, very much. Yeah, I can read them if you want. Lando. Oh, right. Lando update too, if I can, just real quick. So Lando, for those who may or may not know, my Lando kitty had to go to the kitty emergency room last week because he was peeing blood. And he's had a bladder surgery before years ago. So we're very concerned about the issues that were cropping up. But he went back to the vet the next day, and we got some of those test results over the weekend. He does have a UTI, which obviously is not good. But he was already peeing blood, so we know that's pretty not good. So on the spectrum of things it could be, this is like the least bad thing. He was already given a shot for antibiotics when he was there, just speculatively. Turns out, happens to be the right antibiotics for the UTI, for the bacterial infection that he has. So we're already on the right treatment track for that. He's getting extra fluids at home, which is super fun because I'm needle phobic, and he'll have to go in for a bunch of follow-ups and urine scans to make sure everything clears out. And we got to flush. He did have crystals as well, so we'll need to flush those. He may need more X-rays to check on crystals and stuff. And we have our orders for checking on his abdomen to make sure nothing gets blocked. But other than that, he's doing all right. He's been a little mellow, and he just ran out of his pain meds, so he might be feeling a little icky today. But other than that, he's been hanging in there. Everyone's support's been incredible and generous. I do have a GoFundMe set up for him because with 2020 on top of everything else, and it's going to be thousands more dollars before we're past everything too, for follow-ups and medications and the like. But the good news is he's probably going to be okay. And the good news is the better news is thanks to so many people's generosity, it's already feeling less overwhelming and more attainable. So thank you guys.
And good thing that the kitty is better because we love him.
Yes.
Or getting better, in the process of getting better. So that's the best news we've heard in a while.
My little grumpy kitty, my little grumpy faced boy who's been harassing us at night and giving us all the extra love and stuff, even when we don't want it. So yes, that's good. Anyway, thanks for letting me give you the update. In the super chat, or are we gonna? You want me to read some of these?
Super chat. I just realized that I've been saying this name wrong because I always say Caesar Jorpin. How the heck would you say this, Jessi?
Oh, it's Cesario Japan.
Cesario Japan.
Yeah.
So I've been saying Caesar Jorpin.
Yeah.
For like 2 years now.
I see exactly why you're doing that though. Like I can see how the letters have gotten flipped for you. But yeah, Cesario Japan. The JPN is just the shorthand. But yeah, he's been on Jeff's channel for ages, so I figured it out because I heard it fortunately think right before I ever saw him on my channel, I had heard Jeff read a super chat from him. And I was like, Cesario Japan, great. I know this guy. He's
R.I.P. Caesar Jorpin. So now I'm going to say it correctly from now on. Cesario Japan.
Jeff, next time he's on your channel, can you please call him Caesar Jorpin? Oh my God. I think I'm going to call him Caesar Jorpin forever.
That's the part.
Nice.
So I feel really bad calling him Caesar Jorpin, but it's too funny not to. So
too
sorry,
funny.
buddy, you're Caesar Jorpin.
It's what's up. Caesar Jorpin from now on. All right.
Let me read it, but thank you for the super chat, Cesario Japan. Did we get to Gina Torres as Cleopatra and Xena yet? Oh, no. So I can actually go, I think that's on my timeline, right?
Gina Torres is black, which I feel like
I posted this, Jessi, because I love Xena. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. Which I honestly feel like is less right for the part. If you want to get technical and specific, I feel like that's less right for the part, even though Gina Torres is a badass.
Well, so this is what I said. I said, apparently everyone reading that Cleopatra isn't being played by a black woman, even though Cleopatra wasn't black, apparently never watched Xena, Warrior Princess. Cleopatra is in it, and guess what? Is black. Dumbasses screaming just a virtue signal, need to calm the fuck down. Yeah, so, I mean, this is one of those things. In Xena, it's not historically accurate. It's just fun. And they fuck with mythology and actual historical events all the time. Does it make sense that Julius Caesar is around and is one of Xena's arch nemesis, and then somehow Xena can like teleport to China? Absolutely fucking not.
Also, guess who's not racially accurate? Fucking Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry, but Jesus wasn't a white dude. Jesus, by historical accounts, if Jesus was a real person, he was an Arab person.
I always say in the Bible he has olive skin.
Stephen Jeff says in the Bible he's described as having olive skin, which is usually a description we give to people Mediterranean or people from the Middle East. So like he's even like fucking any white person who's ever played Jesus is fucking wrong. Like it's just so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. But yeah, I mean, like, and again, and this is what I talked about a little when you're in the bathroom, is people don't think of the both sides. Because you can't have it one way without the other, right? And I talked a little about too, is like this business of when you show like the pictures you showed of how much she looks like a Greek woman, how much she looks like an actual fucking Egyptian woman. Because then you get into the shit that you have in our culture of people mistaking light-skinned Mexican people, mistaking light-skinned Arabian people for being white, and how that doesn't go away. And so you're gonna get shit like that, like SJWs fucking spewing hatred at fucking people of color just because they don't look brown enough. They don't look a certain way. They're not dark enough to be, you know, they're not black enough for you, and all that bullshit racism just in a different direction. And so you can't avoid that. In the same way with this trap, like you can't avoid, if you want to lean into this, everyone has to look the part and be right for the part. You can't avoid the flip side, which is limiting minority actors as well, limiting people of color by setting up a precedence in which historically people are played historically accurately only. So you can never race swap a character anymore to make a black character that historically should have been a white character, and vice, you know, etc.
All of the gingers would have to stop being wiped out from the media, because that's what they do. There's a ginger. Have you seen the diagram, Jessi, that just shows all of the ginger characters and how they've all been swapped out to be black characters?
That's, dude, did you? I don't know if you remember this. I did a social justice Jessi video.
Find it. I'll find it.
I'll pull it up. I'll drop it in the. Whatchamacallit, I'll drop the link in case people want to see it. I legitimately did a social justice Jessi video, called Redhead. I think it's called Redheaded Erasure. It's not apparently. Oh, it's Little Mermaid casting outrage. And it was my fucking social justice Wednesday, fucking like, you know, all the pretend outrage and shit. In which I talk about redheaded erasure, and I'm outraged at the fact that they keep swapping out. Oh my god, stop playing! I told you.
Is that you? So look, here's Annie. This is I'm forgetting her name, but she's the girl Lily that the Flash loves. But you can just see how they're switching all like ginger characters to black characters, or to yeah, well, she's not black. I don't think they've cast black a Batgirl yet. I don't know why, but she didn't dye her hair red. That would have been more accurate for Barbara Gordon. But that's
it. Redheaded erasure is a real fucking thing. See?
Yeah, they're just erasing. Oh my god! If Lego Batgirl is black,
what? They gotta keep up the casting, I guess.
Yeah, like even Mary Jane, they cast Zendaya. Like really?
What's going on?
It's one of those things I remember because my best friend Sav, she's got like she's in love with gingers, like she just loves gingers, like that's her thing. Like my thing is Henry Cavill, and like hairy, buff, muscular men. She likes gingers, and so she's just like he's got beautiful red hair, and then they replaced him. And it's not that she has a problem with like the actress that like replaces the redhead character. She's just sad that there's no ginger in that role now.
Right.
You know,
it's
like she just loves gingers like that.
It's
Oh, that was me.
and sorry, I didn't get the mute button in time. I was just getting up the chat here so I could post my, because this is hilarious. I literally made a video, a social justice fake outrage video about a redheaded erasure. This is the video too. I fucking love this one. This is the video where I say that if you're not sexually attracted to redheads, you're a Nazi. I'm very proud of it. Also, fun fact, I think I told the story on air about a friend of mine whose girlfriend decided I'm racist. And so,
oh yeah, you did. That was like a matriarchy.
Yeah, this video is why apparently is one of the two reasons she cited for why I'm racist. This video that came out well over a year ago, by the way, which is hilarious. Apparently is why I'm racist, because it shows that I don't understand the need, that I belittled the need for diversity in entertainment. And so please watch this video because it's the reason I'm racist. But like legitimately the whole reason I made the video too, like people are, want to get mad about it and be like, oh, you're making fun of real stuff. Like, yeah, okay, I'm making fun of forced diversity in movies based on something you think is trivial. But again, you think is trivial. The reason I thought of this idea for the movie is because one of my redheaded friends pointed out to me how ridiculously underrepresented redheadeds are in media, to a point where it felt personal. To where she's legitimately saying, like, she's not getting up in arms and trying to be like, I'm oppressed because I'm a redhead. But she's like, literally the amount that we're being erased from the media, like, feels personal. And I was like, how ridiculous that there seems to be, like, what if there is some, like, weird conspiracy against redheads or something? And so that's what got me on the topic. It's rooted in truth. It's rooted in someone's actual experience going, shit, people who look like me are never actually represented in the media. And when we are, we're usually like the weird redheaded, the redheaded stepchild is the joke,
Well, it's funny because like they're out of all of the hair colors in the world, like I think ginger, or aside from like albinos, gingers are like the rarest hair color to have.
It is, yeah.
But you wanted to hear a funny story, Jessi?
Always.
So I have the ginger gene in me, and even when I did ancestry DNA, it asked me, like, it'll ask you, like, after they analyze your DNA, it asks you, like, the survey, like, oh, do you have colored eyes? Do you have freckles? And it just constantly kept asking me if I had ginger features, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? But so on my mom's side, there's some Irish in there. And so my cousin Cody, if you look at a picture of a leprechaun, that's what he looks aside. He's actually kind of tall, but he's got like Black Widow's hair in Avengers, like the first movie. That's how red his damn hair is. And he's got the typical blue eyes, freckled skin, like ginger. And so my cousin, my mom's brother, his daughter, she just had her second baby in July, and she didn't have any hair when she was born, but my cousin posted a picture, and me and Peaches, we keep joking because he's just like, oh, there's gingers in your family, and I'm like, I know, I carry the ginger gene. And so I showed him a picture. Little baby, newest baby in my family is a ginger. And then all of my DNA questions kept asking me, like, oh, do you have red hair? Is your hair kind of red? Oh, in certain sunlights, like, do you have a red tint? Do you have freckles? Do you have colored eyes? All of the damn ginger questions. And I'm like, oh my God, the ginger gene is strong in my family.
That's funny. So if you found out that Peaches had it too, you guys can make a ginger baby.
Well, that's what we keep teasing, and I was like, oh babe, it's like the ginger, like I have the ginger gene. Yeah. But it's just funny because the irony in it is that my mom, when she was pregnant with me, she just expected that she was going to have a little blonde hair, green-eyed baby.
Oh yeah.
And then I popped out and she's like, what the hell is this brown monkey?
I remember these stories.
But so I'm like, what if that's going to happen to me? Like, me and Peaches are both brown and hairy, and I'm just expecting, like, oh, if I do ever have a baby, I'm just going to expect, like, a little brown monkey child like I was, or like he was. But watch, I, like, have, like, blondes and, like, gingers.
That would be hilarious.
My mom is 1% black, so there is a chance I might have a black baby.
But I don't think it's quite how that works.
It's not, but I just remember there was, my mom liked to watch those TV shows that were like medical anomalies, and there was this one lady that had twins, and one was white and one was black, and they were like, what the hell? Because they,
Yeah,
they were twins. Like she didn't have any. Like her and her husband got pregnant naturally.
Yeah,
so there was no tampering with it, and then so they had to like go look back into like their line, or like their lineage, to go find out where like that gene came from. And I guess it was just this recessive gene that was actually on his side of the family.
Wow, that's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. It is technically possible. I mean, obviously not in this situation. It is technically possible, though. I think it's happened a couple of times. Like, you know, we're at a medical anomalies where it is technically possible for a woman to become pregnant with 2 different babies at the same time.
Yes, it is. That's very possible.
As in, you know, 2 different people's babies. Like she could have if she released 2 eggs, and they had just happened to be fertilized by 2 different men's sperms at the same time. Like it's technically possible that you could have fraternal. They wouldn't be fraternal twins because they wouldn't be from both the same dad. But yeah, that would just be like a total freak happening.
Let me read the super chat. Cesario Japan, thank you for the super chat. No big deal, and half of the Vandal Menace has mangled my screen name in one form or another, and my real name. That's a drinking story. Oh, I'd love to hear about it. And then let's get back to this. As wonderful and as enlightening and educational as this lovely thing of like the scum of the internet is, do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
Oh, I can read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Alrighty. Okay, let me just get close to the screen here. Here we go with the whitewashing of African culture. Okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, Egypt's in Africa. Egyptian culture is not African culture.
That's a check mark, Jessi. Like these are check marks.
By the way, I'm sorry, but trying to conflate Egyptian culture and African culture is culturally insensitive. It shows how fucking ignorant you are that you conflate the two and don't have respect for the fact that Egyptian culture is much more steeped in Arabic tradition than it is in the rest of the African heritage, and that people in Egypt are of Middle Eastern descent, not African typically. Yes, there are Africans, there are people of African descent living in Egypt, but the majority of when you think of an Egyptian, they are typically of Arabic descent. Jesus fucking Christ. How are you going to cast Gal Gadot to play Cleopatra when Lupita is right there? Because Lupita Nyong'o is not that fucking great and is not going to play every fucking black person, and also Cleopatra wasn't fucking black. Cleopatra was black. Wrong. Incorrect. False. Imperialist white feminism, the movie. Wrong. False. In what universe is Gal Gadot an imperial feminist? I also, like, she comes from the most oppressed fucking people in the fucking world. Get over yourself. Stop casting white women to play black / Middle Eastern roles. Cleopatra was not white. Yes, she fucking was. And Gal Gadot is just as Middle Eastern as Cleopatra was. Calm down. The caucasity. Get over yourself. Stop making up hateful words to try to get attention. Yeah, so we needed the white Cleopatra finally. Again, well, first of all, we just talked about the black Cleopatra, Gina Torres. So clearly, this is not like it's never been.
People have never watched Xena. They want to complain about how we need more movies with diversity and feminism, and it's like there's Xena. Like every time they suggest a movie, like just one of the most ridiculous. So, off the top of your head, give me something that SJWs complain about that they want to see in a film or a TV show.
Give you a what?
Give me an example of something that SJWs scream and cry about, like feminism, diversity, all that. Give me an example.
Black leads.
Star Trek DS9.
There you go. Let's see. Non-traditional sexual relationships.
Xena.
Also.
Also Star Trek.
Star Trek. Female characters who are not simply there for a man.
Grey's Anatomy.
Perfect. Let's see. Transgender characters.
I think there's one on Grey's Anatomy, but Star Trek.
Yep. The Orville. Let's see. What else? Stories about Black culture.
Malcolm X.
There you I mean, tons. God,
I know. I'm like thinking, and I'm just like Denzel Washington. Remember the Titans? Okay, are we talking specifically African? Okay. What about Hotel?
Raisin in the Sun, all of the plays, that have been made into films from those, that era.
The play Ruined. That is a great play. I didn't know what it was, but I saw it at the Ashland, Oregon Shakespeare Festival, and it was one of the best plays I have ever seen in my entire life. And it's about female circumcision.
Wow.
And, like that, they call the women there that happens to you, that you're ruined. And so it's about this African woman who has this little shop, and she has the ability to smuggle women out of Africa so they can go to England actually to have surgery to reverse it or to fix it. So that way, you can.
Yeah. Oh, God, that sounds really intense.
It was a great play. I had no idea what it was about. We just got tickets, and I any play at the Ashland, Oregon Shakespeare Festival is always phenomenal.
That's cool. Christ, fucking Othello has
oh, there you go, Othello. Yeah.
Othello, which was written in the 1500s, is that when Shakespeare was writing shit? Has fucking deals with issues of your African heritage while living in Europe. I mean, for fuck's sake, Fences, as the third points out, an Academy Award winning film made by an Academy Award winning actor, an incredible talent who has been doing things in the industry for so long.
But it's just the example. The thing I was trying to do with this little game we were playing is to show that everything that they complain about, it already exists.
Exactly.
They don't have anything to complain about. It already exists. You want a diverse princess movie? Cinderella with Brandy and Whitney Houston.
Yeah, there you go.
That 100% colorblind cast. The freaking one of the stepdaughters is older than Bernadette Peters, who's supposed to be her stepmother.
When I was a kid, I loved the movie Life Sized. Where
I love that movie with Tyra. She's a Barbie.
Yeah, where she's a Barbie. She's a Barbie who comes to life, and he was It did not. There was
Did
not.
you ever laugh because Prince Eric Barbie was the Ken doll for her?
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm gonna pull it up because that was the first thing I know.
Yeah, just as much as there was like, there were like the Think Pink Barbies. I don't know if you remember that, Anna. Do you remember the Think Pink Barbies?
I do.
This was like, I hated. The funny thing was this was like what girl power looked like when we were kids. And I had the life-size doll as well. And then there were the Think Pink Barbies. They came with this little cassette with this stupid song called Think Pink about like girl power song. That's what girl power was. It was like, be proud, be powerful, be tough. It had nothing to do with fucking tearing down guys or your fucking sexual identity or your pronouns. It was just be a tough chick. And I hated the color pink then, but I still loved that song. And low-key listened to that cassette all the time. And I think it was like this little girl band set. So I think it was like a white one, an Asian one, and a black girl. I had all three of those. I had the Pterodactyl doll. I love that
scene.
It never occurred. There was never a point in my childhood where it occurred to me that I should feel differently about these characters and these role models because they were different colors. It never occurred to me. I had to one of my most beloved dolls was my Pocahontas doll. And that stuff just like, I still remember too. It's like, if someone had pointed out to me that it was weird that I was a white kid playing with a doll of a different color, I would have looked at them like they had three heads.
What was the name of the Barbie in this movie that Tyra was? Because she had a name.
Yeah.
I need to, because remember in the beginning of the movie, there's a commercial where, like it's the commercial for this Barbie and showing off how this is like the best Barbie.
Yeah.
Anyone remember?
I remember her.
Yeah, not talking about her. I'm saying like, but do you remember the beginning where it shows like her and her here's her and her car, her Barbie car. Here's her
Barbie. Yeah. No, yeah, I remember that whole part. I love that part.
I'm trying to remember Eve. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Life size.
Yeah. Huh?
Computer mouse. I put it elsewhere.
Oh God, I'm not gonna be able to find it. Give me a minute, because I just remember that Prince Eric, a Disney Prince Eric Barbie doll, is
oh my God, is the Ken doll in that? That's so fucking funny. I'd forgotten that. I actually want to watch that movie now.
I'm just like, how did they get away with this?
Yeah. I don't know. It was.
Wasn't it a Disney Channel movie?
What?
It's a Disney Channel movie. It's
Oh,
life-size a Disney
Oh,
Channel.
that's probably why. Oh, that
There
was.
you
God, I feel old.
But that's hilarious. I didn't realize I loved that movie so much. Oh my god.
I
definitely
know.
had it on VHS as a kid.
Dude, Tyra, thinking about how, like, because Lindsay Lohan was still a kid in that.
Oh my god, that was fucking Lindsay Lohan. I totally forgot that.
Tyra looks fucking great for her age. So she's an adult back when this movie came out.
I think about that all the time because I'm like, Tyra Banks became this big thing after that movie.
And she was, I think Tyra Banks is so pretty. Like, I actually used to watch her, she had a talk show, and that was like the only channel that me and my sisters got out on the ranch, and we would watch it. Sometimes it was painful, but most of the time she was funny.
I would believe that. She seems really charming. And yeah, and but goddamn, her genes are fucking great. For sure. Like, she's just, yeah, she doesn't look like she's aged at all. I don't know if she must have had some work done or something, but I mean, Black Don't Crack, she's just fucking flawless.
Yeah, I think she got a nose job, which I miss her old nose. I thought it was cute, but you know what, whatever. You have that much money, you want to do stuff to yourself. If it makes you happy, just please don't become Michael Jackson.
Exactly. We'd miss your
that was just too much.
Way too much.
Okay, I am like on a freaking mission to find the picture of this because it's in the damn. Maybe if I find the whole movie, I'm sure the life-size movie is on YouTube.
I'm sure it is. I can't imagine.
But it's in that because the movie opens with like a little bit of like history, like, you know, the way movies open. But I just remember specifically there's the scene where it's the commercial for let's see.
Yeah, and it shows her whole.
And I just remember going like, "That's Prince Eric. That's like a Prince Eric doll." Okay, found it. Full movie. It's on a playlist. Let's go. Scene 1. Okay, found scene 1. FBI warning. Oh, the coming soon to own on video. Oh my god, the commercial for this is The Little Mermaid 2. I like how the person included the commercials. Oh, here we go. Okay, I found it. I
mean, what's the point if you don't get all those coming soon?
Okay. So yeah, the movie opens with like her commercial. So there's oh, okay, is it right there? I might get hit for the see, there's Prince Eric!
Oh my fucking god, it is!
It's Prince Eric! He's her Barbie, he's her Ken doll.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Oh my god.
Good choice. I mean, definitely a good choice.
I absolutely hated Prince Eric. I don't think when I see like Henry Cavill in Prince Eric's spot, I'm like, hell yeah. But I'm like, how the fuck do you not remember what she looked like? You got a pretty good ass damn look at her and you can't remember, dude.
No, he was always such a nothing character, but I always thought he was good looking. As opposed to like,
I think that's like the first semi-attractive guy that we see in the movie. I was always like, dude, can we talk? Like, everyone's making a big deal about Prince Eric. Can we talk about King Triton for a minute? Like, holy shit.
He's pretty buff.
Yeah, I like muscles, and he's got like a majestic beard. Like, as a kid, I was always like, why is like the dad like more handsome than the prince?
That's how I feel about Aladdin's dad.
My god, yeah.
Who's the voice of him? Who did we just find out was the voice of him?
Gimli is the voice of him.
Oh yeah, and it blew my fucking mind to find that out.
We should watch.
But yeah, I love that movie, and
I just want everyone to know. See, as a kid, I was like, "That's Prince Eric. That's Prince Eric."
Amazing.
And they're on a beach of all.
So fucking right too, though. You're 100% right on that. Which I think is just absolutely.
Let me go find Kazim. That's his name, right? Kazim.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, Aladdin's the hottest Disney character," and I'm like, "Bro, Aladdin's dad. Thank you very much." Like, I don't know what planet.
Well, a majority of the dads are freaking hot in Disney. I'm just like, what is this? I don't know. I'm kind of impartial. I like Naveen, Prince Naveen. He is.
Which one is he?
He's from The Princess and the Frog. I love his accent. I think
his accent. It's good.
I like darker features though, so I'm kind of biased.
Yeah, Kazim's my jam. I like Kovu the lion. He's pretty sexy.
Kovu's adorable. All right, I found him.
Hold on. We can't bring this up though without talking about Shang from Mulan.
Oh yeah, Shang.
Definitely one of the hottest, easily, no question.
But what does this say? Like when your dad is hotter? Sorry, guys, we're having a total girl moment. Like, that's Aladdin's dad. Look at that.
Dude, we used to play this game, which was admittedly very mean, but also very funny because the person we play it with was a total jerk. There's a guy about my age in refereeing whose dad fences, and his dad's a babe. His dad is a total silver fox and like a really nice guy too, and super cool. And so we ask the question. I find it very funny to ask the question to which there is only one answer. And that's who is more attractive, or if you had to pick one, you know, this guy or his dad. And everybody picks his dad, including,
oh my God.
including one of his ex-girlfriends.
Whoa.
Yeah, she still picks his dad. And I'm like, yep.
You know, that just makes me think of Friends because what's his face? Oh my God, what is his name? Tom Selleck dates Monica for a little bit, and then you see his son that's the same age as Monica, and like they go out on one.
Who is Tom Selleck on this show? Because I have never seen any Friends. It's just hard for me to picture Tom Selleck without a mustache.
Tom Selleck is he's Monica's eye doctor, and he's best friends with Monica and Ross's dad. And so Monica has to go in for an eye exam, but so his name's Richard, but Dr. Burke. And so she goes in for an eye exam. Or no, she is catering for his party. But so Monica, when her whole life she was super fat.
Uh-huh.
And so that's the joke, is that Monica used to be fat and Monica lost all this weight. Let me actually so that's like the first thing. He's like, oh, I thought Monica was coming. She's like, Dr. Burke, it's me. And Phoebe's like, oh my God, it's James Bond, because Tom Selleck is super, super sexy and in a suit because he's having like a dinner party. And so
he mustache in this show.
He does have a mustache, but then he shaves it off later on.
Weird. I just feel like he's one of those people like he shouldn't legally be allowed to shave off his mustache.
No, he doesn't look bad. Let me
believe you. It's just uncomfortable. It's like when my dad shaved his mustache of many, many years when I was a teenager, and I just couldn't accept him as my father. I referred to him as an imposter for a while. And to this day, I draw his birthday. Always draw like crappy stick figures on their birthday cards for my family. To this day, I still draw my dad with his mustache. I refuse to accept him without it. I know I just railed about tolerance and accepting people. And
it's okay. It's okay. I've never seen my father without a beard. But yeah, so here's like see, there's Tom Selleck on Friends. There's him and Monica.
Okay, well, that's
and
weird.
So they break up because she wants to get married and have kids, and he's like 21 years older than her, and he's like, I have grandkids already. Like, I'm not about to do diapers again. But I mean, he doesn't look bad without a mustache. It's just different.
Acceptable.
I think he's just a very handsome man, and so it works like no matter what he does.
Maybe.
But he does like not. I think here's the thing: not many men can pull off a mustache, but he can.
Yeah. I will give him that. He definitely, I mean, like I do think he looks better with the mustache personally. He doesn't look bad with it. It's just weird. It's just fucking like unrecognizable. But yeah, he definitely makes it work without it too.
All right, let me read these super chats and then we'll get back on to reading these things. Trace XL, thank you for super chat. What Data Racer compiled is a sample of what happens when people are ignorant to history, especially when they choose to not read it because white person wrote it, regardless if it's accurate. Really, people refuse to read history if a white person wrote it? How fucking stupid do you have to be? What if the cure for cancer was created by a white person and something happened? Or to where, you know, you have to read this to get the cure for cancer. So would somebody choose willingly, knowing that they're dying of cancer, to not read this medical research that has the cure just because they're white? How in that case, you deserve, you know, I'm not going to feel sorry for you if you die.
None of this is ever about inconveniencing them. If it is convenient for them to make a point or read something or experience something via, you know, from history written by white people, it is perfectly fine to cite it. Nothing wrong with it then. It is only a problem if it does not fit their agenda or their narrative. Then it's an
Jeremiah Hessen, thank you for the super chat. First epic rant about Israel, Jessi. Much love and support to you. Haters can go second egg. Huge fan of Gal. She's a beautiful person inside and out.
I couldn't agree more.
And then I think I saw another one. I see the entire chat is like, Eve, her name is Eve. Mongo, big things. Thank you for the super chat, dude. I love that Prince Eric drove a whole ship into Ursula and saved the day. Oh, that is true. He does do that. He redeems himself in the end, but it irritated me. Like, could Ariel not write him a fucking note? And when people say, she didn't know how to read or write, I'm like, she read the contract and signed her name.
I mean, maybe she didn't read it. Maybe she just pretended to read it because she didn't want Ursula to know she couldn't read. And maybe
she knew how to write her name, and she had really good penmanship. So that makes me think that she is very aware of how to read and write. It could be that it was on the contract, like that excuse is like, oh, that you can't write a note. Charades exist. Are you telling me that this dude did not recognize? He literally looked at her. He was staring straight at her.
Yeah, I do have a pretty hard fucking time believing that she had no idea, had no other ways to communicate, you know? Like,
yeah, it's just, here's my thing, because I think The Little Mermaid is super popular because women typically, and, mermaids are just pretty popular universally, but I just know, from my own personal experience, it's like little girls fucking love mermaids. Adult women love mermaids. Like, if there's this obsession with mermaids, which I'm totally fine by because I'm one of those people that I love mermaids. Sure. But Ariel and The Little Mermaid was never my favorite because I didn't like that Ariel never talked and I didn't like Prince Eric. Now, on the other hand, Sleeping Beauty was not my favorite because it wasn't really about Aurora. It was about the fairies. But if you look at that, it's like, let's just break down Prince Philip for like a minute or two. Okay, Prince Philip, what does he do? He's in the forest. He runs into some hot chick, that's some peasant chick. He doesn't know she's a princess. He's just like, yo, you're hot as fuck. I love you. Let's like have a future together. He goes home. He tells his dad, yo, I'm going to go marry some peasant girl. I don't care if I abdicate my throne. He goes to go meet up with her at the house. He gets kidnapped and put into prison from her stalker. Her psycho stalker puts him in jail and says, hey, because you met that chick one time and you decided that you loved her, I'm going to torture you because I hate this chick. And so he's sitting in this prison. Her crazy friends show up and say, hey, dude, I know that you just met this chick. You've been locked up in prison. You've had one hell of a 24 hours, but can you conveniently go kill this dragon for us? You might die. We're going to try to help you, but just go kill this dragon. Oh, and by the way, after you just killed that dragon, you saved everyone. Bitch has been sleeping. So go cut through all of these thorns. Go and wake her ass up. Prince Philip is like a total baller.
And you better also, by the way, you better like her as much as you think you do because you're marrying her.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, all right, sounds good.
He is just down to do everything, and he's just like an overall, like, he's one of those people. He's a yes man. He's all about like, we're gonna do this. All right, we're doing it. I like Prince Philip.
I did like, though, there was always something to me about the Little Mermaid, about the fact that Ariel didn't talk, but she and Eric still had this connection that he was willing to, like, risk his life for her and whatnot. It always spoke. It was never my favorite. I do like a lot of the other elements in the movie. Like, I love Sebastian and the chef. That's favorite fucking things. It's just so much fun. But I also but there was something about their love that always felt like weirdly pure. Because of this, like, I always had the questions about it, but at the same time, I never doubted it at the same time. Like, it seems a little fast, and he's, like, in love with this chick, and he doesn't even talk. Like, he never even said a word to her. But at the same time, like, he's really good to her, and he's devoted to her. So it's like, yeah.
I'm going to read this real fast. Okay, no. I've seen an interview of her where she says, hi, my name is Gal Gadot.
Gadot, I think is how I heard her say it. But yeah, it's pronounces the T. She's not French.
Thank you for the super chat, Ernie Velveta. But the T silent is pronounced. No, it's not. It's pronounced. I have a terrible American accent, so that's my. I should refresh that. I have a terrible Californian accent, and I feel like it's just kind of embarrassing.
Fucking Jeremy Gal Gadot.
Well, he's Southern, so that's a little bit different.
Harder when he talks. I love Jeremy.
But like, if I try to speak it with an accent, I feel like I'm just.
I've actually I used to feel really weird about, like, pronouncing Hebrew words with, like, a heavy Hebrew accent. But one of my friends is from, her parents are from Israel. And she's been getting me back into, like, correct Hebrew pronunciations of things. So that's why it's been easier for me. But yeah, Gadot, if you want to be, if you want to be specific about it, but
Well, to answer the super chat, I went because people were saying, oh, it's Gadot or it's Gadot, and so I went and I found an interview where she introduces herself and pronounces her name.
Yeah, I found one specifically where she actually, like, I found there's like a 5-second one where you can find it if you guys are interested. If you don't take our word for it, you guys can find, there's like a 30-second video of Gal Gadot literally telling you how to pronounce her name. And she says very specifically,
You know what? Why don't we go? I'll go look that up right now.
The perfect one to grab. It's like right the fuck there. So.
So people that say Henry Cavill, and it's like, no, it's Henry Cavill, and he did a Google thing where he answers questions from Google, and he's just like there with his selfie camera, and he's just like, it's Cavill, like travel. Okay.
Yeah. There was one. There's definitely been some names too that I've gotten like horribly wrong before I heard them pronounced.
Oh, look at 13 seconds of how to say Gal Gadot's name. Found it right here. Okay, let me pull it up on the damn screen. Okay, 1 second, because I got to share my audio. We're all going to learn. Learning time. Okay.
I love learning. It's
their audio. Here we go. Let's turn that up. I'm going to have to mute myself, though, because it'll have an echo.
Yeah. No worries.
A lot of the people call me Gal, Gal, like different variations, but I totally get it because it's hard to pronounce. But yeah, my name is Gal Gadot.
Of course, that's the one where she says it like super quietly at the end, but.
Gal Gadot.
So she says it very quietly, but it's Gal Gadot.
Very clearly, if you turn the volume, Gal Gadot, the T is very much there. She's going to pronounce, the O one way because she's Israeli. We may pronounce it differently because we're American, but very distinctly. And there's another something too where I've heard her specifically say the T is not silent. So yeah, understandable. The way it sounds like the way she says it, it sounds like it would be. It's pronounced, and there's things like waiting for Gadot, where it's the same. Spelling. Waiting for Gadot is the same spelling and whatnot. But yeah, it is actually. I learned this as looking up some stuff about her. Apparently, her father's older name was their family name was Greenstein or something like that. Something really Jewish sounding, and they changed it. When they.
You say Jewish sounding names, but so I'm from a place where I think you were like the second Jewish person I'd ever met, but traditional knowledge. So I don't even know, what is a Jewish name?
Anything with green in it, anything that ends in bomb is typically Jewish. Stein and Steen are typically Jewish, are traditionally Jewish names. So anything with a Stein or a Steen, plus, bomb, anything bomb, nest bomb, green bomb, anything things. Trying to think of other ones too. Like sometimes you just have to hear it to know it, but like the Steins, the Greens, and the Bombs are a pretty good one. Also, like just Stone on its own is a Jewish last name, turns out, which is funny because Milestone is not an anything last name. It's a completely made up last name. But it's just funny to me. But yeah.
Fun story. No, it's like ski, like that's a Polish thing. Like if you have ski in your last name,
these are Polish, and ski also. If you like the combination of consonants, like when you start seeing like C's and Z's and W's all smushed together, it's usually Polish.
See, with Portuguese, it's like. Well, not really, because now I'm thinking of usually there's like O's at the end of the last name, like Azevedo. That's a really big Portuguese last name. Let's see, like Noon. That's like Nunes. That's a Portuguese last name.
Really? I didn't know that. I've known a few Nunes in my life.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Like, Portuguese people. Let me see. What's her name? There's a famous Portuguese singer. She's Canadian Portuguese though. So we got really Really, right now is when you decide to do the yard work. Hold on, let me go shut my damn window.
It's not that loud.
It's loud to me.
Probably loud for you, but not
Super loud to me. Let me see. But okay, totally off topic now. But let's get back to this. Jessi, did you finish this page?
Just about. Let's see, where were we? Yeah, so we're at, anyways, in this beautiful, pleasant night, I hope Gal Gadot chokes or accidentally falls off the stairs to her death, along with every other Zionist. Okay, so why are these tweets allowed, first of all? Because isn't it wrong to wish ill on people? I thought it wasn't allowed to wish ill on people on Twitter. So
No, if you were saying something that Twitter agrees with, it's okay.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, Cleopatra was Greek, I get it, but casting a Zionist whose family is Polish, Austrian, Czech as the Queen of Egypt in 2020, why not just rewatch the Liz Taylor version? Okay, so now, literally, seriously? Now you're mad? Because, okay, Cleopatra was Greek, so now you're literally mad that they cast someone who is of Polish origin, or who has more Polish than Greek in her. So you're going to get mad when we have Italians playing Germans and Scottish people playing British people? I mean, what the fuck is next? Are you hearing yourself as you write this? Jesus Christ. Greek art of the time depicted skin tones closer to a paper bag than to milk, so... Okay, you're also looking at art that's been aged for thousands of years! How do you know those colors even look the fucking same as they did 5,000 fucking years ago? Stop casting whites for roles of Africans. Yeah, sorry, but Egyptians are not Africans in the pure sense of things. If you went and cast an African to play Cleopatra, that would be just as wrong as casting, I don't know, a Chinese person. So fuck you. You're all retarded. Jesus Christ.
So that's just one. So then Data Racer followed up with this. Loads of abuse and racism is being sent to Gal Gadot. Woke media calls it backlash, completely ignoring the vile harassment. And so, yeah, this was an article that came out, and the ratio is freaking insane. Okay, I tried to read this article. Like, I clicked on it, but then it popped up at the top, and it wouldn't let me read it. It said, listen to this article. I was like, fuck, no. So Gal Gadot is facing backlash for starring in new historical epic Cleopatra. It's not backlash, it's harassment.
It's harassment. This is not backlash. This is harassment, and it is fucking wrong. And if we don't call it what it is, if we act like, oh, backlash, and we treat this shit like it's acceptable, it will continue to be acceptable, and we will continue to have this in our culture. And if y'all want that, that's fucking fine. That's not the world I want to live in. That's a fucking broken ass world, and I don't really want to be a part of it.
I don't think anyone does. So I'll read this first page and you can read the next one. Bitch, shut the fuck up and die already. I seriously hope you suffer in this life and the next. White people, ... God, I hate them. So you're a racist.
So you literally just said.
So in that case, like when people say that, it's like, it doesn't even, like, you can interchange like white with black, with, you know, Asian with Jewish, you interchange it with something. So it's like, okay, so you hate that race. Okay, so don't use anything that was invented by that race. If they invented medicine that you need to survive, well, you hate all of them, right? So you don't get to use them.
Terrible. We've never done anything good, so fuck you.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that this person whose name is Jana likes jeans, right? Okay, so jeans were invented by a white man.
Yep.
So you cannot wear jeans because that was made by somebody that you hate that lived, what, a few hundred years ago?
Yeah, seriously.
All right.
But yeah, no, go for it. Hate all white people. Hate white people back when like white people weren't even, hate white people who lived in places where they weren't the majority and did stuff too. Why not? Hate them all. Hate everything they've ever contributed to society. Hate your family members if they're white. By all means, definitely hate them. If you're Jeff, you have a timer going off over here.
Oh, sorry.
I'll just dismiss it.
Yeah.
You're a Zionist monster bitch, sticking tongue out, flipping off. I like how like these are all people that are like, oh, believe all women. Oh, we need like more female representation. But then it's like women that are attacking other women. It's like, lovely, aren't you?
Right, believe all women except for the ones who are Zionist bitches. Okay, who gets to make the determination? Because guess what? Gal Gadot has not said anything except for the only thing she has done that's making you call her a Zionist bitch is not denounce Israel, her fucking home country. Because guess what? She doesn't buy into your self-loathing bullcrap. Not everybody needs to fucking hate themselves in order to feel better about the world.
Mm-hmm. Don't utter the name of my country on your filthy mouth, you piece of filth.
What is your fucking country?
I think Egypt.
Probably fucking America. Sorry, probably you're fucking American. You're probably fucking way more American than Gal Gadot will ever be. Because she's not American, and yet somehow, it's my country. I'm so precious about it. You probably have no fucking connection to it. You probably have no connection to it whatsoever, and that's part of why you hate her so much, because she probably has actually been there.
Hell fucking no, not a Zionist pig.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
I mean,
all right, this is all you.
This is the equivalent. Calling her a Zionist because she's from Israel and they don't like Israel it's like the equivalent. I had a good example earlier of like a racial equivalency. It's like,
was it the South African thing that you were saying?
I mean, I'm just trying to think of like a racial, like it would be akin to like, if you let's say they cast a black person as like a mixed race person, and people started calling them a race traitor because they were a darker person playing lighter skin, and so black people started calling him a race traitor, and started calling him the N-word because somehow started calling him a cracker, whatever it was, but call them a race, some shit like that. It's like that. It's like that much of a difference. Like if an African American, this is like if an African American got cast to play an African, and people started calling him racist and a bigot and someone who hates black people because he's playing an African as an African American. Didn't
that happen though? Like, didn't they do that to the guy, Chadwick Boseman, that played Black Panther? Didn't people I feel like I saw that somewhere. Like people were
I have used that as a point of comparison before, when people were talking.
I know, and it was like with Michael B. Jordan too, like that he's not black enough to play the character. And I was like, what are you talking about?
People did bring that one up. People did have an issue and said that he wasn't black enough to play whatchamacallit. Yeah.
Well, it's like, I'm sorry, this is in the 90s. We can't go back and get Denzel to play him because Denzel's a little older now.
Well, but people pointed out we don't know what his mom looked like,
But I'm like, really? Like that's the hill you want to die on, that Michael B. Jordan isn't black enough. It's not that he's a well-liked actor that has good charisma. It's that he's not black enough. It made me think, because I remember I was a kid and my parents were watching the Hotel Rwanda. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And so I remember like I was so confused because I'm like, Mom, like why? Like, because the guy's worried about his wife because she's the lighter black skinned.
Yeah.
And so that was what they were like trying. They didn't like lighter black people. They liked darker skin. And so he was worried because his wife was one. And so like he didn't want his wife or his kids to die.
Yeah.
And I just remember like, what's going on? My mom was explaining to a child, they are like, these are black people that are trying to kill other black people because they're not black enough. And I just think about that in some of these situations. I'm like, do you not understand how absolutely like stupid and just insane that sounds?
Yep.
Like you want to kill somebody just because they have a lighter skin tone than you.
It's so retarded.
I understand if somebody like murdered your family or, they bombed you. I don't know, your stronghold in your country, so it's like you're going up against war because somebody else started this war, but just going on this rampage murder spree just because and you not knowing anything about a person and just killing them because they have a different skin color.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's absolutely insane.
It boggles my mind. And the thing is, as I continuously say, we will never get past racism if we keep making the conversation about skin color. It has to just be about people being people and treating each other like people. As long as we continue to make the conversation about skin color, even if you think you're doing good because you're whitey and this and that, you're not. It just furthers the problem. We see that clear as day all the time. And it sucks. I don't know how else. There's no better way to say it. It's just retarded. It sucks. And like, it just sucks how people don't get that. They want it's like watching people just run around in circles and beat their head against a wall, Because again, it's just the same shit over and over again. It's just reframed. It's the same cover. We talk about this all the time, you know, say this a different way. Like you just said even earlier, you know, insert any other skin color here and we're gonna be shocked at how fucking racist it sounds. And it just boggles my mind that we keep going in the same fucking circles of like, yep, no, it's, well, all white people are bad now and they're evil and have to pay. And it's like, all right, great. And then you keep it up in a few hundred years, you will have successfully oppressed the white man, and then we'll be here fucking fighting for whitey's rights now. So,
well, it's just like I've never met a person that picks like a friend based on their skin color, and maybe that's just because I haven't encountered, you know, out racists. But it's like I don't become a friend with, or you know, talk to someone or work with someone based on their skin color. It's on, do we have anything in common? Can I actually carry on a conversation? Do I even enjoy having a conversation with this person? It's like, you know, you and me, I didn't know you were Jewish until I was leaving your apartment and I saw a menorah and I was like, that's what it's called, right?
Yep, you got it.
I saw a menorah in the window. I was like, you're Jewish? You know, it didn't even occur to me, you know, to even ask that question. I think I was shocked when I found out that Jeff was black, but that's because like I had never seen Jeff, and I was like, oh, like I had no frame of reference for what Jeff was going to look like, and then I met Jeff, and I was like, oh wow, you know.
I definitely, before I found out what Jeff looked like, I definitely thought he was white.
Most people do.
You sound white, bro.
You know what I tell them? It's called an education. Get one. You'll sound as white as anybody. Just go.
Well, see, you know what? I didn't even care. I'm just like, oh, that's what you look like. Okay, cool. You know?
Yeah, I didn't.
It didn't change any of like the content or like the shows that I enjoyed that Jeff made because of what color his skin is. And if anything, like Jeff, are you like pretty close to Jessi's skin, or are you a little bit darker than her?
I'm super pale. Like people,
it depends.
Yeah, I know.
It depends on the time of year.
Oh yeah, I can, but
because Jeff you definitely tan differently because of the more melatonin. But melanin.
I mean, you take melatonin to fall asleep sometimes.
You definitely tan very differently because of the melanin. But like when we're both full pale, Jeff's full pale is almost as pale as mine, and I'm very pale.
Yeah.
So
Jeff, can you sunburn?
Okay, it sounds gross, but not really. Because what happens, Anna, is when I get a sunburn, it stays burned for a day. Then the portion of my skin that had sunburn, it gets real oily, and then the sunburn like wipes away. It's weird. I don't know how to describe it, but it's always how I get a sunburn.
I've seen it happen. It's weird. It is weird. He will get like a little bit of color when he's got a burn like that, but it really doesn't last maybe a day, and it's never as bad as mine. Also, you really don't get like the painful part either, because yours always sloughs off before it gets that like, painful peeling part.
Yeah, see, Jessi just gets screwed, right?
I do. Jeff saw me get one so bad that the shower was painful.
Yeah.
Oh my God. See, I never got a sunburn like in my entire life until like the last time I went to Hawaii. It was my first sunburn ever. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Because my entire life I was super, super dark and tan. And my sister's always got sunburn. But then after living in San Francisco for 5 years and not really seeing the sun, my great tan and, you know, protection and tolerance for the sun went away. So when I went to Hawaii expecting not to sunburn, I got a very rude awakening to just how painful that shit was.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck this, no.
Yep. It's not fun. I never had a serious burn until I was about 16. And I fell asleep on the deck of my cousin's or my uncle's boat. And in the like out in the hot sun with the water, you know, sun reflecting off the water and all that stuff. So it was pretty bad. And then since then I burn like a regular person now. But until then, I never got a serious sunburn. I would always get like a very, very minor one, go away right away, even if I didn't put on enough sunblock. And then it just all changed one day. And it's too bad.
And life happened. And then it screwed us all over with this stupid sunburnness.
And then, and then life just goes downhill kind of from that point. It's like kind of hard to reclaim your childhood after that happens.
It's like, fuck this. I screwed myself over forever with this stupid sunburn shit. Yep. But so now I'm all about sunblock and like making sure that I wear stuff to protect my skin, because I'm like, I do not ever want to go through that shit again. That was painful.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Have you read these ones yet?
I have not. Let's do
all
it.
Right. And enjoy.
Oh God! Oh my God! Is this not like some of the most vicious, hateful shit you guys have ever seen on the internet too? Like that's what blows my mind about this. It's not even like this is up there when people want to talk about like, oh, that stuff you always find on the internet. Like when you read a comment section for too long and it devolves into like this ugly, ugly, nasty bigotry. That's this shit. Like this is up there with the worst things I've ever heard. A colonizer playing an historical colonizer. That's not what we meant when we asked for representation in the industry. How is she fucking colonized? I fucking can't stand this idea when people act like Israelis are colonizers. They didn't fucking ask for it. Learn your goddamn history. World War II ended. The rest of the world finally went, oh shit, yeah, you know, it might be a good idea to have a safe place for the Jews because we have kind of been killing them throughout history and like their entire population just got pretty fucked. So yeah, maybe a country for them would be a great idea. Let's see, what would be a great place? And Great Britain decides to go, well, we'll be its protectorate and we're going to plop it right down here in the fucking middle fucking east, surrounded by people who all hate the Jews. What could go wrong? Insert war after war after war in the past, 70, however many years in the goddamn region. But there you go. No, Gal Gadot and her family and any of the fucking people who live there. In fact, her family probably, if her mother's grandparents were immigrants to Israel from Europe. That would be about the time of, I don't know, like the Bolshevik Revolution, and there was the Jewish diaspora in Russia and the rest of Europe, where Jews were not welcome anywhere, where Jews were barred from becoming citizens and working most jobs, and generally forced out of plenty of other countries around the turn of the century. And then we also know that her grandfather went through Auschwitz. So clearly their family are not fucking imperialists; they are fucking refugees. And so shame on every one of you, voice of the oppressed, voice of the refugee, voice of the immigrant. She is the picture of refugee. That's what her family is. That's what Israel is. It's a nation of refugees. And yes, its leadership is fucked right now. And I'm not making excuses for its president or its increasingly right-leaning leadership. And very different when I also talk about right. This is not, their right and left don't look anything like our right and left do in this country. It's a completely different conversation to have. And while yes, typically our right-wingers align with the Israeli right-wing government right now, the actual politics and policies are very, very different. Right and left in Israel and in most countries in the world mean very different things. And you have to, before throwing around those terms and thinking you understand what they mean, it's really important to understand a country's actual politics. And I was like, that's how Ben Shapiro got fucked up in that interview. He made a fool of himself and started accusing a conservative UK journalist of being left-wing because he wasn't aware of those differences, and that this journalist, in fact, actually very much is a conservative pundit in the UK. But what's considered conservative in the UK is not the same. So,
what happened?
Oh, it was this is about a year or two ago. It's before the whole wet ass pussy thing. But it was he had an interview. It was when Georgia was passing the abortion bills and Hollywood was making a whole bunch of was losing its mind about it and whatnot. And
the one thing you are very up to date on politics.
Oh, right.
I don't even know what that is.
This one, like some people in our community, like I remember Josiah Rises made a video on this and stuff too. People in our community were talking about it a little bit.
Was that why everyone was like talking about pro-choice and pro-life for like a month?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what that was about?
That's what that was all about. And that was when people jumped down my throat because all I did was make a response to one of Josiah's videos, literally not even stating whether I was pro-choice or pro-life or anything like that. Literally just stating that this issue is not as black and white as people like to act like it is. And I hate when people do that, when people on either side try to act like it's so fucking simple and don't acknowledge the shades of gray and the actual agony and pain that goes into these decisions. No matter who you are, whether you are pro-choice or not, just being pro-choice doesn't mean that you want to run around and just kill babies, and being pro-life doesn't necessarily mean you hate women. And for people act like that though. People want to reduce the argument and go, well, if you're pro-life, it's because you hate women. No. Well, if you're pro-choice, it's because you hate babies and like murder. Well, no, that's fucking ridiculous. And so I really can't stand when anybody minimizes the argument and tries to say it's simple or it's clear or it's black and white or I don't understand why we're not on the same page. Because to me, that's just a straw man argument. It's creating a false.
Well, see, I remember somebody like sent a super chat into like one of the high councils, and I didn't want to, I don't really talk about politics, and so I made a joke that was a reference from Friends because Rachel gets pregnant in a later episode, and so it's like false labor pains. And then, you know, Ross shows up late and he's like, what happened? And Joey's like, oh, she had this thing. And he's like, oh, you could like, women barely feel, or most women barely feel that. And Rachel's like pissed because she was like dying. And she's like, no uterus, no opinion.
Nah.
Because I was like, he doesn't know what that feels like. So him saying like, oh, it doesn't hurt. Like if a guy comes up to you and says like, oh, you have cramps. Oh, that like, most women barely feel it. It's like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what this feels like.
That's the thing
that I said that, and I guess I pissed off a lot of people. And I didn't know that not everyone was aware of that Friends reference, because in my own little thing, I'm like, I think that Friends is one of the most popular shows ever aired. So I'm like, do people not know that scene?
I mean, I've never seen a second of Friends. So
okay, well, I thought that the general population had seen it, and so I said that as a joke, and I guess people didn't get it, and people were pissed. But I'm just like, well, it's obvious. I was like, how do you not understand? Can you not hear the sarcasm in my voice?
I don't understand how people couldn't get it. Also, like, sorry, but I'm not going to fucking apologize. I always love starting with sorry. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to fucking apologize for some of this shit, too, anymore, because, like, it's again, it's these stupid us versus them and the pressures of things. Like, in order for me to somehow not be woke, I have to reject any form of women's rights whatsoever. Like, no, I'm not about that. I'm not about to, I'm not going to roll over and let guys assume they know shit about periods and cramps just because, to speak up would be woke. Like, fuck that. No, I'm sorry, you don't. Guys don't know what it feels like. And in fact, I love going to this study where it's a hilarious joke. Because they tried to do male contraceptives, oral contraceptives for men, not that long ago, and they couldn't get it past the clinical trials because the men complained too much about the side effects. These side effects for this pill for men, well, first of all, let's talk about the pill for women. These side effects for the pill for women, it's a laundry list. It includes things from, cardiac arrest to blood clots to stroke.
Blood clots is a big one if you get the shot.
I used to, when I was on the pill, before I did the IUD, I used to take aspirin every time I flew to try to make sure, I didn't clot. But yeah, so fucking list them as long as my arm for the side effects for this. The side effects for the male pill were and not in every instance, but the only side effects for the male pill, and only in certain circumstances, were bloating, nausea, and headaches.
What? That's it?
Yeah. So, like, welcome to having a fucking period. And guess what? And cramps. I think cramps were one of them too. It was like literally just like a very short list of literally the symptoms women feel every fucking month when we're on our period. And guys could not fucking hack that to take the pill. So no, women have to get stuck with our fucking stroke risk and our fucking blood clotting risk because men, it's just too uncomfortable to be bloated a few days a month. It's just terrible. Oh my God. So shut the fuck up about that. She's like, that's the shit where I'm like, yes, there are discrepancies between men and women in this country. And like, that's one of them. Contraception is definitely one of them. Contraception is something that has been 100% put on the backs of women for a very, very long time. Even though, which you can say the logic in it is like, well, women bear the consequences, so they should probably, worry about that. And yes, I do think because it is always going to be important for women to take a hand in their own contraception because we do bear the larger consequences. And men, and this is not a dig or a criticism, men will never understand, and I think it's wrong almost that we keep expecting them to. Men will never understand what it is like to have to be afraid of getting pregnant, to have to be afraid of having a baby, all of these things. They will not know what it's like. Just like as someone talks about getting kicked in the balls in the chat. No, women will never know what it's like to get kicked in the balls. But the thing is, why do we keep expecting men to understand that and understand the gravity? Like we just had that conversation, me and Jeff earlier, where I mentioned something about hearing about instances of sexual assault. Oh, hearing about how frequent they happen in Uber and Lyft, because my mom always fucking texts me and is like, oh, people get raped in Ubers, don't take Uber. And I'm like, all right, Mom, thanks. And Jeff being like, yeah, I've never had people text me those things or say those things to me. And he's like, it's just so weird thinking about you always having this in your life, me never having it. Because, I mean, look at Jeff. He's a 6'5" giant dude. no one's ever tried to sexually assault him, except for me. So he doesn't.
That's not sexual assault because he likes it.
That's true. So he doesn't. So he doesn't have that frame of reference. He doesn't have those concerns. You know, it's illogical to expect him to suddenly understand what that feels like because he doesn't. Terry Landis is right. I don't understand it. I just have to respect it 100%. So men need to stop acting like they understand what we go through, what we feel, and vice versa. You know, it's 2 but at the same time, it's also like we also need to stop assuming that other people do. So there are discrepancies, there are differences, and there are pressures and expectations that I have felt. I don't know if Anna's felt any of them too, to sometimes roll over and shut up about women shit because it's too woke for this community, and that's not fucking right. This community is a community where everybody's rights get represented, where everybody's real, actual issues get represented, where people's real, actual voices get represented. So all the issues deserve just as much attention, weight, love, and whatever. The problem is when people want to act like their issues are more important than everyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I usually keep a lot of how I feel about things to myself, like either whether it be religious beliefs, political beliefs. I'm trying to think of what else I could use, like mainly like all of that stuff, because I don't think it really has too much to do with how I feel about like TV shows or actresses and actors and stuff like that. Like it doesn't have what that is or what I feel about those things has nothing to do with my opinion on a movie. Like when you start fucking with the characters, that's when I have a problem. If it's like if you're doing a movie like The Prince of Egypt, okay, that's you know one of my favorite animated movies. But whether I believe in Judaism or Catholicism or whatever you call the Egyptian religion, that has nothing to do with the fact that I think it's a good movie about brothers and that kind of stuff. Has what I believe in personal life has nothing to do with the fact that I like that movie, like I love the movie or, the play, but I love the movie version, Fiddler on the Roof, because I'm not Jewish doesn't take away from the fact that I love that movie,
There are plenty of things. I mean, tons of things. Christmas movies. I love Christmas movies. All about Christmas movies. Seen tons. I mean, how many movies where people go to church, where that's an important, the baptism scene in The Godfather. I know you hate that movie, but it's one of my favorite scenes in all of cinema.
Isn't that because they're killing people while the baby's getting baptized?
Yes, because it's a beautiful, beautiful allegory as well as badass moment. But I mean, there've been some incredible I mean, I used to love this movie as a kid called The Trouble with Angels. It's Haley Mills. She goes to a Catholic school, and the movie's about her and her friend, being this bad influence on her friend and them getting in trouble with the nuns and stuff. It's very cute, very charming. It's all about them, at this church. That never bothered me for a second that I was in a church. Never felt alienated from it or isolated from it. Ben, we were just watching Ben like back in the other day, and actually we were talking about that movie specifically. How movies used to do that. It was like, yeah, that was definitely a movie about diversity and cultural sharing. And it was presented to you in a very fun, very palatable way, in a highly enjoyable chick flick that I really liked. Not everyone has to, but it was certainly, it wasn't preachy about it. That's kind of the point. Like, did you ever see Bennett Like Beckham?
Oh my God, long time ago.
I love that movie. It's super cute, and again, it's just it has all these fun little cute things with Indian culture in it, and it definitely addresses the trials of an Indian family assimilating with their culture into British culture. But it doesn't do it in a way that's preachy, and it doesn't do it in a way that's not fun. It does it in a way where you're like, oh, cool. It's fun to watch. We all love watching movies like My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I
love that movie.
Yes, part of that is the cultural sharing. Is for a lot of us, we don't know what goes into this big Greek wedding. And it was the first time for non-Greeks to get to see that and be like, whoa, cool, look at this neat culture that is different from my own.
It's just, shit, well, sorry, I just got distracted because Tulip came in here. Fuck, sorry, total brain fart. What were we talking about?
Cultural sharing and how movies used to do it in fun ways that were enjoyable.
Oh yeah, and it never used to be offensive, and it's just people. I mean, I don't know if people got offended by My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I thought that movie was hilarious. I love the analogy where he's just like, any word, and I can tell you how that the word is Greek. And so I used to do that with Star Wars. I'm like, give me any topic, and I can turn it into a conversation about Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And so my friend, she she had to take a psychology class because she was studying to become a doctor, and there was just like one of those classes that she had to take. And she's like, I'm trying to figure out she had to read these different essay prompts and then pick one and write an essay about it. I was like, I bet you I could write an essay and relate whatever your prompts are to Star Wars. And so she's like, all right, Anna, tell me how you can make this relate to Star Wars. And I did. And she's like, God damn it. So she read the next one, and I'm like, okay, here's your essay for that based on Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so I just love doing that, like coming up with, and she would call me every now and again, and she'd be like, hey, this is my new essay topic. I bet you can't make it about Star Wars. And I'm like, well, here we go.
Challenge accepted.
Mm-hmm. So I can change any topic that has nothing to do with Star Wars into Star Wars. I love that superpower that the dad inspired me to create.
You and Raging Rhino as well. I was joking that we should have like always drinking rules on my channel. That's like people's things they always do. So like Anna, yours would be anytime you get excited about Henry Cavill, you have to take a chill like that. You'd have to take a drink. Rhino's would be anytime he connects an unrelated topic to Star Wars. I think I would have to think what other people's would be. Cecil is just take a drink anytime he is not currently drinking.
Yes, I agree with that one.
Trying to think of what other people's drinking rules would be. I feel like Jeremy's would be, I mean, obviously Jeremy doesn't drink, but if Jeremy had one, it would be to take a drink every time he said motherfucker on a live stream. Like when he gets on his rolls, he's like, motherfucker, about everything. I don't
remember him doing that. I haven't watched, have they even done like a G&G live stream in a long time?
Moments. Whenever he goes in his rants, he always like, when he's like, acts like he's talking to someone, it's always, motherfucker, you pork wallet.
Gosh, I feel like I haven't watched like a G&G live stream in forever. I don't even remember that.
I mean, I remember those from back in the day, but I honestly don't know what they're up to these days. It's just been, he's got a great, huge thing going on with tons of people. It's just a lot to keep up with.
No, I'm just like, I just realized that. I'm like, I don't think they've gone live in forever. I don't remember him.
I know he doesn't do a lot of, like, he does the gaming, they do like the gaming streams now and stuff, and you don't do a lot of just like classic live streams anymore.
Yeah, and I have no interest in Mario Kart.
I do, but not. I don't. I sometimes just like playing video games against the computer or against Jeff. Like, I'm really antisocial. I don't think people realize that about me, to the point where, like, I know some people are antisocial and they love online. Like, the people who are quote antisocial but love online gaming aren't actually antisocial. They're just socially awkward. And so online gaming is the outlet that they have for that. When I say I'm antisocial, I mean it. Like, I'm fine not seeing people ever again. Everyone's like,
see, and you and I are so alike in that sense. It's like we are fine being social with people that we know and that we like, but when it comes to like doing that with other, it's kind of like a chore after a while to like go out and, because remember when we were just at Star Wars Celebration, it's like, okay, we got here. How much longer until we get to take an Uber or a Lyft back to the hotel so we don't have to see anyone?
Immediately overwhelmed by people, tried to leave. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to stand in this corner and draw this X-Wing. And you're like, I'm going to go not flirt with Jeff. Cough, cough.
Totally not flirt with Jeff. Definitely 0% Jeff flirting happened.
Sure. Let me read this super chat. You still haven't read this damn page yet, have you?
I haven't. I'm keep getting outraged in between.
Janin Patterson, thank you for the super chat. My drinking game is watching Scarface, and every time they say fuck, you get buzzed like 10 minutes in. So lightweights in the first 3. I would die. If that was the drinking game, I would definitely die.
Yeah, I don't want you to die.
Yeah, that was one that I couldn't play. All right, Jessi, no avoiding, must read.
All right, more rage time. I'm getting geared up again. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, fuck you. Great. That's real creative. I'm like, at what point do you not realize you're just peddling outrage when you can't come up with anything else other than fuck you? Oh, white bitch, it's Cleopatra. Shut the fuck up. This Zionist is pissing me off. The Queen of Egypt was black. No, she wasn't. You're not doing anyone any favors. Nobody cares about the lies, but you and the sorry ass dictator period, or sorry ass director period, hashtag blackity, hashtag black, recuse yourself. Okay, no one's afraid of the word black except for you, lady. Your imagined world where everyone's afraid of the word. But you're not black. Cleopatra was false. Fuck you. Wow. May the whitewashing begin. Y'all need to chill. Y'all need to really fucking chill because you can't say anything other than fuck you. And like, this is the kind of shit too. People want to sit here and try to act like, you know, oh, because we saw someone holding a white supremacist sign at a Trump rally, all Trump supporters are white supremacists. Great. This fucking shit is in your group too. So I guess all of you guys are pigs like this. Because if you own every person that's contributing to your group, then you guys are these fucking people too. Anybody who's not out there actively disavowing this shit needs to fucking shut up.
It's just they're freaking insane. Like that's I said this in one of my videos because I think I've done 2 or 3 videos on this topic, and I'm like, I don't understand this, but again, I'm not insane. You know?
Uh-huh.
I'm not a crazy person. I don't understand, like, oh, she's black. It's like, well, one Google search away from finding out that that's not true. So now what's your complaint now? It's like, it's so frustrating. And I'm like, this is what you're mad. Like, this is the hill you want to die on. Is that, oh, she's this word that you just learned because you saw somebody else tweet about it. So now you guys all just started using this word that they were probably all like me where they've never heard this word before. And then they saw somebody use it. They Googled it, or they saw that that's what somebody was calling her. So then they copied it.
They don't even know what they're fucking saying, or that it really isn't supposed to be a bad thing. But they just think it is. It's oh my God. I vaguely remember my metaphor that I had. It was better, but I don't know if it's good enough to revisit again. There you go, though. It's like, honestly, it's like accusing somebody of being a black supremacist for playing Malcolm X. They're accusing her of being a Zionist for being from Israel. That's what they're doing. And that's the only reason why. It's so beyond stupid. As I'm reading more, if you just go a short little way into the Cleopatra Wikipedia article, you'll also find that she actually was the first of to
learn the Egyptian language.
Yeah, the first Ptolemaic rule of the Ptolemaic kingdom to actually learn Egyptian, because everybody in her family spoke Greek. Because even though she had lived in Egypt for a little while, they were all fucking Greek. And in fact, they were so tied up in like Greek and Roman
politics
that after she died, it became part of a province of the Roman Emperor. Or empire. Like it's.
Isn't that why she killed herself though? Because the Romans were invading. So
that's why she ended up taking her own life, because she knew they were coming and whatnot. But it's like, you're literally like, that was her story. That was her whole thing. Like Cleopatra, if you want to really get it, Cleopatra is your version of an imperialist. She is the descendant of an imperialist family that came in and took over your African country. She's a fucking imperialist from an imperialist fucking family who has actually the first one who actually took a deep interest in the culture that she was ruling. Like, she's a fucking white savior. And everyone's getting up in arms because she's not being played by a black person. Like, learn your fucking history.
And if you even, I feel like every time I watch like a movie, it wasn't the Elizabeth Taylor one. It was another one where, it shows like her relationship with Caesar and then with Mark Antony. And she murders her brother and like tries to murder her sister, right? Like she's not exactly a good person.
No, she's kind of
ruthless. And I remember like just not liking. I'm like, I know that this movie's about her, but like she's kind of a cunt,
She is. Yeah. Lando, stop! You cannot eat the pizza or the plastic around the pizza, Lando. Sorry, Lando's being a problem. He must be hungry, and he's on a diet, hardcore, because he was getting a little chunky. And all these issues, the bladder issues, are better, and they're also easier to detect when he's at a better weight. It's just been tough because he has been sneaking off. I think Jane for a while was getting a little big for his britches, so Jane was ditching his food to go try to steal the big boy's food because he decided he liked it better because it was different. And so he would go up to that, and Lando hates his food because he's on a prescription diet for his bladder, so he would go steal Jane's food, and Jane would go steal his food, and Jane gets more food and a more calorie-rich food. So I think he was putting on some weight from that, but he has been restricted. And
See, my cats finally like me because I am the bringer of the wet food.
Haha.
And so they're just like, every time I wake up, Stardust is like, meow, meow, meow. And I'm like, I know you don't know. Like, she can't hear herself meow, but she knows that if she does that thing with her throat, that I look at her. So she's just like, oh, let me do this thing louder when you're sleeping because I want my wet food. And I'm like, God damn fucking cat.
Amazing. The joys. A cat who has all of the downsides of being deaf, but figured out how to make noise anyway.
Yep. Those are my cats. And then Ziggy's favorite thing is to play with the Roomba.
Aww.
And so he doesn't understand that when he pushes the button, it makes a very loud and annoying noise. And so me and Peaches are trying to sleep, and all we're like, fucking cat is playing with the Roomba again.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. I love it.
And so it's just, my cats. But they're getting fat now because they're eating their wet food. But I'm like, hey, they kind of like me now.
Yay. Well, that's good.
I know, like Stardust will let me pet her, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's happening. I have to bribe my animals with food so they'll love me.
I'm glad they can have wet food, though. I know it's tough with their coat and stuff.
I finally just said, fuck it. My cats are skinny. I need to feed them. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm going to try it because I feel like it kind of sucks being an animal because you have to eat the same thing over and over again.
Now I think about that. I try to get different flavors for my cats when I can. For that.
Well, see, they'll only eat, so also Stardust doesn't have teeth.
Aw.
Like, she only has, like, 4 teeth.
Poor baby.
I know. And so I didn't realize that until she yawned and I saw the inside of her mouth. I was like, what the fuck? And she always is sitting there with her tongue sticking out because she doesn't have teeth.
Huh.
And so Ziggy's got more teeth than Stardust does. But I'm like, it must be such a pain in the ass. And that's why they can only eat certain shaped foods.
Yeah.
If they don't have teeth. And so I was like, I feel bad. So I was like, fuck it. I don't care. Their coats get dirty no matter what I do. I'm going to let them have some wet food. And then they're like, and now they're obsessed and in love. And then anytime I walk in a certain part of my kitchen, they think, because that's where the wet food is kept, they're like, oh, she's getting food. She's getting food.
Naturally.
You'll see. I'll show you if you ever make it over to my house.
We will. For sure.
Eventually.
But yeah, no, that's good too because cats are notoriously bad at hydrating, so wet food helps keep them. That's why say if your cats like wet food and don't have any issues with it, it's the best one because it's better than to do more of that than dry because they're used to getting their primary source of hydration from the blood of their kills in the wild, so they're not really conditioned to they're not conditioned to. Why can't I put a sentence together today? They're
like dry food.
Yeah, they're not conditioned to like know how to go for water sources and stuff.
Let me read the super chat. And I saw, you guys, we haven't talked about Star Trek yet because we've been talking about this, but unfortunately, we're almost at the end. We're half an hour over how long these streams are usually supposed to last. But let me read this super chat. Zarthas, thank you for the super chat. Same silly uproar over Alex Porres making gods of Egypt, calling it culture appropriation. Only problem, Alex Porres is Greek Egyptian born in Egypt. I saw that trailer and I was like, this looks so stupid.
I did not.
It's with Jamie Lannister and Gerald Butler, and Jamie Lannister is like his eyes got stolen and they're Greek gods.
Oh, maybe I did hear about it.
They're Egyptian gods. I saw the trailer and I'm like, this just looks bad.
Sounds like a weird concept.
It's like kids that have to go find these Egyptian gods and help get Ra's eyes back because I think like Anubis stole them. And I'm like, this looks stupid.
Regular stuff. It sounds kind of dumb.
I think it like bombed epically bad.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But it didn't have anything to do with the cultural appropriation. It looked like a stupid B movie, you know.
A huge phase for a while, like it still is to this extent. Like I think people kind of think that because of the universality of mythology, it's just like a slam dunk to make something, mythological.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't actually do any of. People are so fucking lazy about it. It's like the stories and the research are already, it's the paradox. It's like you specifically chose to tell these stories because these stories have already been told, so the work has been done for you. And yet when it actually comes right down to it, you don't do any of the research. You chose this because the source material already existed, and yet you ignored all of the source material in your efforts to create this piece. And I just don't.
Oh my God, that sounds just like something.
Gee, I wonder what. I just don't fucking get it. I don't get what the point is.
I don't either. But I mean, that's like one of my biggest irritations with J.J. Abrams is that he's not capable of coming up with something original because everything that he makes is based on something else. Look, Star Trek, okay, already had a built-in audience, built-in licensing, built-in IP, right? He fucks it up. He goes and does Star Wars. Again, built-in audience, built-in marketing, built-in merchandising, built-in IP. What does he do? He fucks it up. He doesn't respect it. He says he's a fan, but he doesn't know shit about it, obviously. And he's like, oh, I'm a fan. Let me fuck up all these characters. Let me fuck up the universe. He did that with Star Trek, and then he came in and did it with Star Wars. He's not, and the original movie, I think we talked about this a few matriarchies ago, but his most original thing was Super 8, and that's a ripoff of E.T.
Yep. And see, the thing is, I have no problem if somebody's thing is doing adaptations, as long as they one do that and two do it well. You know, if your thing is adapting someone else's work, be fucking good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just hand us dog shit because you were too lazy to come up with something yourself. You don't have any good ideas on your own.
It's let's say, so Tim Burton, he never came off as like a huge superhero fan, but he did Batman, and he did his own version of Batman.
He did. I thought and a really great job of sticking to some of the things that were very Batman-y. I thought, all the wackadoodle stuff with the Joker in '89 was very reminiscent. It was like it was his way, and all the addition of the Prince music and the colors kind of felt like his way of paying homage to the campiness that's always been a part of Batman, while still very much clearly adding his personal tone to it. And I mean, he's really like a lot of that darkness is
that's his like forte.
That's his thing. He brought that into Batman, and a lot of people now can't imagine Batman without it. People love that darkness.
Orville Nation, hey dude, what's up? Thank you for the super chat. Hey Anna, check out DM I sent you when you get a chance. Laughing face regards, PJ. Oh, thank you. Yes, my inbox is a mess. I will go look at that. Let me actually write that down. Okay, here we go. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. But so our topic on Star Trek is that, unfortunately, guys, Star Trek Las Vegas has been canceled.
It has been. It is
which means
there will be no meetup. There will be no reprise of our amazing gathering of years past. Well, the year past. Tragically. Got to figure out something else for our birthday, too. I figured this was coming. But, we were obviously hoping that it wasn't going to come to this. But I kind of expected it, unfortunately.
I was hoping that it would be fine, but with the climate, I feel like people are kind of scared that the world's going to close again.
Yeah, I think people are worried about stuff getting worse too coming into the season. So it's just
how is it where you live right now, Jess?
I don't know. It's crazy, but I get it. I mean, it's possible things will be better by then, but at the same time, where things are now, it's basically they got to the 0 hour on having to make the call. This is the point at the point of no return after which they're not going to be able to get deposits back and things like that. And people need to know to make plans. People I'm sure have held off on booking flights. We certainly did. We were thinking about flying. We just figured out we'll just wait till the last minute, either get a good flight or drive. And so I'm assuming they probably just got to that 0 hour, though, realizing we've got to call it, and it just wasn't certain enough that it was going to be able to go forward. So even if they were pretty sure, all right, we're on track, we think if things stay like this, we'll be able to do it. But if there's another issue, if things get worse again, we won't. And how do you just can't take that risk as a business. mean, so many people have talked to so
Well,
many.
they also lost the licensing to use the Star Trek.
Yeah, because it's official. Yeah, they're officially not no longer. This would have been the last official Star Trek convention. Although they lost the partnership, but I think they still have some of the licensing. So like, they're still going to be doing a convention. They're still going to be planning on getting guests, and obviously
It's called like 55-year in the making, or like
yeah, something like that. And
like 55-year mission.
Yeah, 55-year mission. Yeah, 55-year mission. Which is cool. I'm glad they're doing that. I'm glad they're able to do something. And obviously, they have this reputation as being a very trusted home of Star Trek fan content. So I don't think they'll have any problem attracting high-profile guests and still having a good relationship. Just obviously, but it's going to look.
Well, remember, I got super excited because William Shatner retweeted me, and he said, "Yeah, sure, all the Phantom Menace come."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever done! Because William Shatner." I was like, the interactions I've had with William Shatner, he's always been nice to me, and the few interactions I've had with Mark Hamill, he's been an absolute dick to me.
I know. I think that's sad.
And I'm just like, what the hell? I was like, but Luke Skywalker, like, I'm being nice to you, and he just is like an asshole to me. And I'm like, but Luke Skywalker. And then Captain Kirk, he's just like awesome. And I'm like, that universe when Captain Kirk is more nice to you than Luke Skywalker.
Right? Who'd have thunk it?
Well, Captain Kirk is usually pretty nice unless you're like an asshole to him. But really, Luke Skywalker? Come on.
Definitely, Kirk has more of a smarminess to him. Like, Luke isn't really that snarky. He's very earnest, whereas like Kirk is a much I would say snarkier and like more sassy character.
Mm-hmm. Macy Van Dusen, thank you for the super chat. Howdy, Anna and Jessi. Long live the matriarchy with the live long and prosper hand. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The chat is Phantom Menace. I think so. He invited the Phantom Menace because I said Phantom Menace were Star Wars got canceled. Let's go over to Star Trek, and that was the one that he retweeted. I was like, oh my god! Not only was he retweeting me, but it was like me specifically saying Phantom Menace.
I know. I thought that was so fucking cool.
I was like, this is the greatest moment of my life. I'm getting this printed on a t-shirt. I don't even care.
You should.
But remember when we were at Star Wars convention and I wore my Spaceballs t-shirt on the same day that apparently everyone else universally decided they were all going to wear their Spaceballs? And I'm just like, yes, this is great. But it's also that moment when Spaceballs is more Star Wars than the new Star Wars. It's so sad. Oh my god, Jessi. I'm just looking at this thing that I'm working on and I'm just thinking about how much of a pain in the ass this is going to be.
I'm sorry.
And it's all your fault.
I know. I'm sorry.
Space Windu, thank you for the super chat. Star Trek question, is Voyager a good show? I like Voyager. I think compared to all the Kurtzman Trek, Voyager is like world renowned, like the best thing you'll ever watch compared to a new Star Trek.
Sure. I mean,
I would the way I would watch it is watch the originals, then watch Next Generation, and then you can pick whether you want to watch DS9 next or if you want to watch Voyager, and then watch Enterprise.
Really? Watch Enterprise?
I like Enterprise actually a lot.
What do you think is the worst one?
Well, it depends on what mood I'm in to watch. I can't say like the worst one, but I mean, as far as rewatchability goes, or as far like,
well, just because I would say I hear like Voyager and Enterprise usually tied for people's least.
Okay, so I'd suggest I think it makes it more enjoyable to watch Enterprise if you have a very in-depth knowledge of Star Trek.
Fair.
So if you know who, like, because it's a prequel to the original series. So me having, a vast knowledge of Star Trek, not to toot my own horn, but like I know a lot about Star Trek, and I watched I actually watched, excuse me, I have something in my nose. So I watched Enterprise before I watched Voyager and DS9. So because I think I was able to find it like free online, so I watched it. So I had watched the original series and I watched Next Generation, and then I watched Enterprise, and then I watched Voyager, and then I watched DS9. So I watched it out of order, but I had seen the movies, and so I knew everything I needed to know from the Next Generation and from the original series. And so when I was watching it, because I actually just rewatched Enterprise, I finished it like 2 days ago. And so by the time you're done with it, it's like, God, that's all. Like, I want to watch more.
Yeah.
I think what threw people off is that the stupid song that they picked for their like little intro, it's fucking terrible.
I couldn't recall off the top of my head. I know I've heard it at some point, but that sounds like one of the more fair assessments I've heard Enterprise ever get. But yeah, what is your favorite series?
Well, it's a tie between the original series and the Next Generation.
Yeah.
But I think that there's like certain episodes that obviously I like more. So
yeah.
What I do is it's like if I'm in the mood to watch Star Trek, I'm like, what episode am I in the mood to watch? Because that's usually how it goes. And I'm like, what kind of storytelling do I want to watch? Am I in the mood for like friendship with Kirk and Spock and like little snarkiness, like with Scotty or the Doctor? Or do I want to watch like something, I guess in a way like philosophical with Picard?
Yeah.
So it always depends on like what I'm in the mood for, on which one of those I'll watch more.
Fair enough.
But I mean, I was watching Enterprise because I really like Andorians, and so they have they go a little bit more in depth into Andorians, and they would have touched on that more, because where they leave off. So it's between the Vulcans, humans, Andorians, and Tellarites that form the Federation, and so when it got canceled in season 4, it's just starting to like get into that, like them forming the Federation. And like Shran is one of the best freaking characters. And so the chat will know, I'm blanking on the actor's name, but he plays like a ton of characters in Star Trek. And so he's in all of them, but Shran is my favorite character that he plays.
Oh.
And it's just, I love Andorians, and I love all of that, and like going to their planet, and you get to see there's actually like another subspecies of Andorians, subspecies of Andorians that are blind, and they have like they're telepathic.
Oh,
and so it's really cool. But so, and then I also here's the thing though, because now you got me on the Star Trek tangent. So they do, a lot of people get upset because there are a few really like, because Star Trek has always been progressive in the way that they try to incorporate real social issues into their show. And I always liked the way they did it, like in the original series with racism. And so they had those two species, the aliens that were white and black.
Yeah.
But one was white on the right side and one was black on the right side. And so it's like the racism that destroyed their planet. And so it's like, yeah, that's showing racism and how it will destroy you. But it did it with aliens, you know?
Yeah.
And so it shows that humanity has risen above that. But so there's this one episode, and it's in season 2. And it's like, the show is not woke, but there's like a few episodes that it's almost unbearable. Like you can watch it. I can get through it, but I'm just like, this person that wrote this particular episode that came out 19 years ago, it's so woke. So they do this thing, but they fix it. Somebody fixes it later on, where Vulcan mind meld was, it's considered, it's kind of like if you came out as being gay back, when it wasn't okay to be gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, if you had the ability to meld, it's this whole episode where it's like, oh, only a small minority can meld. And if you're part of, and they didn't call it like the melders, they just said the minority.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the Vulcan, one of the Vulcans, to Paul, they run into some Vulcans that don't follow the rules of logic. They allow themselves to feel emotions, which we'd already seen in the movies with Spock's brother. And so this guy, this Vulcan, he mind melds with her, but it's like he mind rapes her because she doesn't want to meld with him. So he does it to her anyway.
No.
And so she gets a disease from it.
Oh.
And so it's a mind melding Vulcan STD. And so this episode is about how they're at this medical conference for the doctor, and so only her and the doctor know about it. And so he tries to get he lies to the Vulcan.
I know this episode.
You've seen it?
Yeah, just when you said mind meld STD, and I was like, wait a second, I know this whole I know exactly the episode you're talking about now. Yeah.
Well, so it's like that out of the entire show is the wokest episode, but they fix it in season 4 because somebody is like, they run into these other Vulcans that are like they're completely pacifist, and they don't agree with these Vulcans that are still trying to fight emotions. And so they just explain that, hey, we're slow to evolve. We're not like humans. You guys have jumped so much in like just a few hundred years that we've known you, where it took us thousands. And so there's this one Vulcan that just kind of explains it. She's like, it's not actually an STD. It's an imbalance that you have that was created because a Vulcan that's not experienced in actually how to mind meld, and so it fucked with your nervous system, so I can fix it. So as long as it's like somebody trying to do advanced yoga that's never taken a yoga class. Like, it's going to fuck up your muscles. Yeah. And so they fix it. And then so they explain that there's still Vulcans have that, they have to control their emotions because they're very emotional. And so how there's Vulcans that are still suffering with that, and that's why stuff is getting fucked up. I'm like, wow, somebody went and looked and saw how they fucked up with Vulcan lore and the way the species works, and they fixed it.
Yep.
And so I like Enterprise a lot. So people that say stuff about it, I'm like, you haven't watched it, and guess what, now you can skip through the opening song. So you only have to hear the first few words of it.
Right.
But I like it. But that's my little... So have you watched Star Trek or Enterprise at all? If you know that episode.
I must have then, because I know that episode for sure. So clearly I must have. It's one of these... The thing I watched most on TV as a kid was definitely Next Generation. But my dad had, like, whatever was on, he'd put on, too. So I know for sure there was a run at one point where Enterprise was the big thing. So I'm sure I watched a decent amount of it. I'm sure I probably watched it if I went back and saw it. Because when I was younger, too, I didn't necessarily know what everything was. So I knew, so I would know. I was like, I knew what the original series was, and I knew Next Generation was the one with, again, why can't I words? Picard, and I knew the original series was with Kirk, but I didn't really, if I saw an episode and I was like, oh, who is this captain? Or, oh, it's the female captain. I knew that, but I didn't know, like, I think I might have known, I learned Captain Janeway at some point, but I didn't know that was, Deep Space Nine versus what was
Voyager
or Enterprise. Yeah. So,
yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I was the same way. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one with Picard, like the bald dude. Kirk is the one with Spock.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's
things I knew as a kid were like, I loved Worf, but I liked the other one better, like the other show better that didn't have Worf in it, even though I liked Worf better. But I also really liked and there was little things too where you saw certain like one-to-ones where you're like, whatchamacallit? Again, with the words today. Data is kind of the one-to-one to Spock. So as a kid, I always just thought of like, I was like, well, I like Data better than, I like Spock better than Data. But then I also liked, Geordi LaForge's character more than, say, like, I don't know, would you say like Chekhov is kind of the Geordi equivalent?
I would say Scotty, because they're the engineers.
Oh yeah, duh. But it's just always because Geordi's on the bridge all the time. So
yeah, they fixed that after the first few seasons. They have him in engineering. Well, because he gets promoted.
Because he what? Okay, he gets promoted in engineer. That's cool. Okay. I didn't remember that stuff. Because the one, like the narrative flow that I know the best is definitely original series. For sure.
And I would say, as far as just randomly like going and opening like Amazon Prime or Netflix and clicking through, and the chances of you getting like a great episode as compared to like a just okay episode, go click through any aside from like 1 or 2 episodes of the original series, you're going to get a great episode. Click through, you know, a majority of the Next Generation, you're going to get a great episode. And I would say that there's more good episodes in DS9 as compared to Voyager, just because there's some things in Voyager that you absolutely need to know what happened on the previous episode to know what's happening in the whatever episode you click on.
Sure.
And because that one is more like they're going on a journey, even though it's episodic, you need to know certain things. Like, so if you clicked on the episode where Kes comes back and Kes is the villain, if you don't know who Kes is and, you know, how her relationship with Janeway or Neelix and why Kes left, you're not going to get the same emotional impact as if you did watch, you know, the first 3 seasons. Whereas you can click any of the Next Generation episodes and, you know, not have to see any of the previous episodes, and you get
Whoa, fuck, what just happened? What just happened? Hello? Can you hear me? Because I just lost all sound here. I don't know if you can hear me, but you just cut out completely and I couldn't hear you. Everything looks normal. Everything looks fine. But all of a sudden I just couldn't hear you anymore. So if you're still here, maybe you're not. Okay. Says I'm in the show. Anna's not talking. Okay. Did Anna just go quiet for everyone else too? Because all of a sudden Anna just went silent. She's still okay there. She must have been a computer issue. It was just weird because I was like, I was not looking at the screen at that moment. So I'm just listening to Anna, and then all of a sudden she stops talking, and I'm like, where did Anna go? Terrible timing too. I was about to, when she was finished that thing, I was gonna be like, I'm gonna run and go to the bathroom. So she better get back soon before I pee myself. Because that's fun, right? I love peeing my pants. No, yeah, it just took me a second to like get back to the screen and be like, am I seeing things right? Yeah, she must have had a computer crash. She has those issues every here and again, as most of you well know. So Anna was on a beautiful tangent that the thread of which I cannot pick up because it was a much more in-depth analysis of the relationship between the various Star Trek shows than I could ever give. In fact, it was being done for my benefit, and I was learning things. So clearly, I can't continue on that thread, but I will find out what your favorite UFOs got her. Oh, what are your favorite Star Trek shows? I might have been dropping it in the chat already. I was engrossed in our conversation, so I do miss a lot of the chat, unfortunately, on some of the Matriarchy days because I get so engrossed in talking to Anna. You guys notice I do this with Jeff too on my own shows. I get so engrossed in talking to you know, whoever's on. Yeah, the Leviathan. I guess he is on the bridge a decent amount. I just felt like a lot of there wasn't like the first season though. It feels like they're always going down to the bridge to see Scotty, you know, and like some episodes are Scotty heavy episodes, and other ones Scotty's just like not really there, which is fine. But Scotty is the shit. Were you there in the day when Jessi Peterman's live on air? You guys know the story. If you don't, I'm telling it right now. I don't know if you guys know the story of Jeremy's first High Council. So if you guys remember the High Council coming together, and at the time Jeff was the biggest channel, followed by Ethan, but of course Ethan was, you know, Ethan, and people kind of knew who he was from his reputation as a comic artist. And so Jeremy had the smallest channel of anybody, and the like least smallest reputation. So he was all like, "Oh yeah, this is so important and blah and whatever and stuff." He did not step away a single time during that. Jeff and Ethan, whenever they needed to pee, they just fucking muted the stream and fucking went and peed. So this is Jessica P&F Jeff Talk. I take it means it's gonna be a minute before we get you back. I'm good at this moment. You guys, I guess probably you've all had to pee before. How it comes and goes in waves and stuff. I might have to get Jeff to do it though if Anna's gonna be too long getting back in here. So yes. Oh yeah. So Jeremy legitimately, he had like probably a Yoo-hoo bottle nearby. Jeremy legitimately pissed in a bottle on the first High Council because he was holding it. I think I was even texting him during that. He was like, I think he might have texted me like, I have to go to the bathroom. And then I got the follow-up of him peeing in a bottle. And I was like, wow, that's gross. You probably should have just gone to the bathroom. And I just thought it was so funny, too, that here he was so freaked out that he's pissing in a bottle when, like, I literally just get up and walk away during my live streams. Like, I have my own live streams. Like, when I used to stream just me before I had my amazing man living here with me and I had to pee, you guys remember, I would tell, if I had guests on, I'd tell them to lose the audience. It was just me. I'd just straight up walk away. I'd be like, amuse yourselves. I'm going to the bathroom. I'd walk, you just stare at the wall for 2 minutes while I fucking took a piss. So I just think it's funny the things people are and aren't precious about. People turn their cameras off all the time when they stand up and shit like that. I'm like, I'm standing up. Here are all of my legs. Oh, look, those are my pubes. Whoops. What? So I'm not saying this is how it's probably happened before. Like, what?
Okay, so I heard the Anna part cut out.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm sitting here and I take my headphones and I go, that just stopped randomly.
Yeah.
I can hear everything.
Yeah.
And then I'm just hearing you go on some kind of tangent about your pubes. What?
Yeah, no, just how some people are really precious about like turning the camera off whenever they get up and move and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't. I just stand up and sometimes, whoops, here are my pubes. I don't think it's ever actually happened, but it could. He was emulating Iron Man peeing in his suit. I guess so. Maybe he was trying to. We all know Jeremy. No, we all know Jeremy would be Captain America though. He doesn't have the swag to pull up Iron Man. That's for damn sure. Actually, honestly, I feel like now it depends which you want to take as like the big three Avengers. Because if you want to go to like the MCU, it was Iron Man, Cap, and I guess Thor. So how would the High Council break down? Now I'm trying to think, how would the High Council actually break down Thor, Cap, and Tony? I do think Jeremy's going to be Cap because he's the good boy. And while he certainly is never going to get on anybody for language, definitely the whole, not drinking and all that adds to his good boy image. But now is Jeff Thor or Tony and Ethan? Because I can actually, the thing is Jeff's not really a perfect match for either of them. And I can actually make a solid case for Ethan for both. But I think I'm leaning towards Jeff as Thor and Ethan as Tony. Because I feel like the wit just matches up best that way. Not saying Jeff's a meathead or anything, not by a long shot, but certainly that snappy wit I think is an Ethan. Even though Jeff is very funny, no knocking him, he cracks me up hardcore, and he's got a brutal sense of humor. But there's the bigness, the big factor of those three. Thor's the bulkiest, and then there's the sexy factor, and I think Jeff's the sexiest. Let's play with the chat though. Okay, chat. I don't care if you're a straight guy. Play anyway. Which member of the original High Council was the most attractive? Or let's just play Marry Fuck Kill with the original High Council. Marry Fuck Kill, original High Council. All right. Like me in the chat. So chat, Marry Fuck Kill. Do it. Obviously, I'm marrying Jeff. That's actually real life. I'm actually going to marry him in my real life. Ew. Now I just realized I have to answer the rest of this question. I was excited. I was this will be great because I want to marry Jeff. Yay. And then I realized this means I have to fuck one of the others and kill one of the others. I don't want to do either. I neither want to fuck nor kill Jeremy or Ethan. My brain, that's pretty much the full range of emotions, and mine is somewhere pretty much in the perfect in between of how you feel about your platonic friends. Will Gentry, I like your quote. I can't highlight because it's not on my channel, even though it feels like it is because it's just me. Will says, I was about to say Jeff is obviously Thor because they're both sex on legs. I think Jeff needs to hear that. Oops, sorry, Slush. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't headbutt you. Jeff.
What's up?
I'm playing Marry Fuck Kill with the chat with the original High Council members.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm going to marry you. Oh, and that is also just we're deciding who it started because I was deciding which of the 3 MCU original Avengers the original High Council would be.
I get Hulk?
No, I went with Thor, Iron Man, and Cap. Because obviously you'd be Hulk, but I would use Thor, and Ethan is Tony, Jeremy is Cap.
That works.
And Will Gentry says that he picked you as Thor because you're both sex on legs. And I
Oh,
couldn't.
Will Gentry, thank you. But
I couldn't
the
agree
reason
more.
I can never be like the Hulk,
Yeah.
I'm not angry like that.
No. Cecil should be the Hulk, but instead of getting angry, he gets drunk.
Deal.
And that's the secret, is he's always drunk. Oh my God, that's perfect. Why has nobody thought about this before? Somebody needs to do this deep fake. Oh my God. Somebody needs to do this deep fake. I will post outrage on Twitter about Gal Gadot later, but someone needs to make a deep fake. Is deep fake 1 or 2 words? It's 2 words because that makes sense to me. I refuse to accept culture of kids these days. Someone needs to make a deep fake of Cecil, Return of the Living Cecil, as Bruce Banner in the first Avengers movie, saying that his secret is that he's always drunk. Actually, I'll just quote this. Bruce Banner in the first Avengers movie. Now, Caps would have to say now would be a good time to get drunk. Right? It's Captain America that says that in the Avengers movie, right? Yeah. I need your help constructing my tweet.
What's up?
It's Cap who says now would be a good time to get angry in the Avengers movie?
Yeah, because that's my secret, Cap. I'm always
Yeah, because I'm writing the script here, so now would be a good time to get drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Cecil. That's my secret. I'm always drunk. Perfect. Oh my God. That tweet, for obvious reasons, needed to be in all capitals. So you guys should probably retweet that so that we can make it happen. Or Cecil can just shoot this in his life, because I'm okay with that too. And now back to the chat to see if you guys are as incedible what was I trying to say? I was trying to say excited, and then I started reading somebody calling Cecil the Incredible Drunk, because can we just call him the Incredible Drunk? It works. The Incredible Drunk. Sober Cecil is the worst. That's a decree by our queen. That is true. Nerdy Gamer Gal, yeah, we probably would have been done by now, but Anna left. I mean, she didn't leave. Her computer crashed or something. We still don't know. We just know that she probably that. Let me see if she shot me a text or anything. She's not. But yeah. So yeah, this is great. I have a friend. In addition to having a sick cat, I have a friend in the hospital, and I'm her contact person for stuff. So I'm just checking because I may have to go pick her up after this. Hopefully she can come home today. Well, maybe or maybe not, because hopefully she gets fucking answers. But anyway, hashtag insurance companies suck. Cecil loves peaches 2020. Anyway, well, Piri Chan needs to do my deepfake.
Is Anna still silent?
Yeah, she's gone. I don't know what happened.
Are you on the air?
Yeah.
Do you need a co-host for that?
I mean, sure. Like, honestly, Anna already showed in the chat and told you to take over so I can be, because I was like, well, this is a great timing because I have to be. So I actually wouldn't mind if you could pop over for a hot second while I ran to be. Camera is off. Confirmed. Well, Nerdy Gamer Gal, you get a cameo. You get a Jeff. Oh, wait, hold on. Shit. She just. How did I miss it? She just FaceTimed me. Here it goes. Okay. What is up? Hello. Oh. Huh. Whoops. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still just here. Oh, I have not made this decision yet, because that's sort of here. I can put you on speakerphone for the moment, while we figure out what the hell to do.
I'll be right back. You can put me on speaker. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hooray. So, ooh, we do have some super chats. Did Anna fill in the chat what happened? I guess she did because you guys seem to know more than I did. Busy getting answers from Jeff about stuff. Yes. So, can you talk for a hot second while I run and pee?
Of course I can talk for a hot second.
All right, I'm gonna just leave my phone here because Anna's on speaker on it. But I'm gonna go pee. All right, chat. You get not really a woman, but you know.
It's Good Morning Pop Culture.
Okay, I'm back. Peaches just turned it on. I have to wait for the Wi-Fi to come back on.
Fine. All right, and I'm gonna run and pee real quick. But Jeff's got the phone.
Okay, cool. So I guess I'm just here.
Jeff's here too. So.
I'm here to talk to your audience for a minute.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Whatever the audience wants to talk about. Let's see who's here that I recognize. Let's see. I know Nerdy Gamer Gal. Obviously, I know Sketch Therapy. What up, folks? Welcome to the Matriarchy. I'm a dude. I'm not a woman, so I can't be a matriarch of a family. But we can have fun for a minute while everyone is
Just
out.
pretend like you have a wig on.
I need a haircut. Is that close enough?
There you go. Yeah, still no internet. I'm still waiting for it to come back on again.
Howard Newsom wants. Optic Racer says, Jeff, tell us about your Star Trek collection. Well, I can tell you about my Star Trek collection in one sentence. I own a Captain Kirk figure. I own two Jean-Luc Picard figures, and I own the Abrams trilogy / James Wan trilogy on Blu-ray because it was given to me partially, and it was cheap when I bought the other part. That's my Star Trek collection. What up, Leviathan? How you doing, man? So yeah, now if you want to talk about Star Wars, that's a different story. It's actually Jeff's today. Indeed it is, Holocron Library Fox. Indeed it is. Anna, apparently the chat wants to know if you got your pizzas. Did you get your pizza?
Oh yeah, Peaches made me a pizza earlier, so I ate it when I went inside. But I had pizza. I just did not have no internet yet.
Oh. Alejandro, Jeff, talk about your Marvel Legends collection. I realized that not mistakenly, it took me a year, but I think I bought every figure that came out in 2019 and half of 2018. So back in Ohio, I have an office full of Blu-rays, DVDs, comics, all my good, cool, collectible nerd shit, my Hot Toys dolls, and I have just so many Marvel Legends figures. Name a character, folks, I bought it.
What Hot Toys do you have?
I have the Michael Keaton Batman, I have Spider-Man from Spider-Man 3, and I have Marty McFly, Part 1, Marty McFly. So I have a couple, and I want to get more. Like, as soon as the pre-order for the new Spider-Man comes out, the one that's based on the video game, the original costume, I'm buying it.
I'm back.
Oh, there you are. I was going to say the call dropped. Oops.
Let me see if there's any super chats. Well, that's cool. I only have the Mask of Zorro, Antonio Banderas. That's my only hot toy.
Are you planning on getting any more?
I pre-ordered the Baby Yoda statue and then the David Bowie statue, and then I also got Anakin, the new one that they just came out, but he's in like the Clone Wars getup. But you
got that, nice.
Yeah, I'm still on the waiting list for Obi-Wan and Padme because they haven't released them yet.
Oh, I'm waiting for them to release a Bespin Han Solo. Then maybe I'll consider it because they dropped the ball in their first Han Solo release. It looks nothing like Harrison Ford.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why. That was years ago when I wasn't pissed at Disney. I was going to buy it. The money wasn't the issue. And Indiana Jones, the faces just look bad.
They just don't get Harrison Ford right, huh?
No, but there's a new Star Wars Black Series from Return of the Jedi that looks really good. So, I mean, if you're looking for accuracy, folks, there you go. All right, Jessi.
Yes,
Thanks for having me, folks. Good to talk to everybody.
Wrap up, I guess, since we're already at over 3 hours.
I mean,
let me see if there's any super chats that I missed.
Oh yeah, that might have been just the one.
Okay, Space Windy, thank you for super chat. Oh yeah, Star Trek question. Morbar 7170, thank you for super chat. Used two guys are making me lose my mind. I guess that makes me mindless too. Haha.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the mindless mob. That's my followers.
Yeah, I think I got all of them, so we are good. So I do need to turn off my power, my power again, so Peaches can finish installing this thing before me and Drunk have our stream. So I'm going to have to end it here. This will be re-uploaded onto my secondary channel, That's Star Wars Girl Live. Let's see if there's anyone. Oh, so everyone that's live right now is Ethan is live, Mary is live, and Young Ripa is live. So if you guys want to go raid any of those, feel free. Jessi, is there anything you want to shill before we go?
Just that Matriarchy will be on your. I want to remind people Matriarchy is going to be on your channel again next week, and then it'll be on mine for the following 2. We swapped weeks since then, and I have a couple of.
Yes. And then my I'm gonna have a special guest host next week, and I guess I can announce it now. It is going to be Aiden Paladin.
Cool. I'm excited. You'll have to bring her back some week when I'm around because I definitely.
Oh, I know. I think you guys would hit it off great. But so yeah, I asked Aiden if she would grace us with her presence of coming on, and we actually to talk about Star Trek because I found Eden via EFAP, and she started talking about like Vulcans and like the Vulcan language. I was like, oh my god, she's a Trekkie. Yes.
Nice. Always fun to find a kindred spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Awesome. Well, that'll be really, really exciting show. We'll see who we get lined up for the week after that. Probably going to aspect a random, so we'll see. But yeah, it'll be fun.
All right. And then if you guys are not, go subscribe to Shit Pancakes channel. Also, go and check out my art channel, please, and thank you. Inktober is almost over. Well, it's like halfway. It's almost halfway through.
It's insane, isn't it?
It is. And I'm just like, oh, my birthday's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. And then it's gone. And it's over. And life
and then it's your birthday.
It's true. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a big one.
Yeah. It is indeed. Big 3-0.
Are you excited about it or no?
I am. Yeah. I've never been a person who gets hung up on age. So it's exciting. I'm a little bit bummed because the thing is I usually don't, it's just kind of ironic. I usually don't get too into the big birthday party. I love having my birthday be about me. Don't get me wrong. I love celebrating. I'm not one of those people who don't feel the need to celebrate. I fucking love celebrating my birthday. Absolutely all about it. But I've always done very personal things for it because I've always usually been home. So this will be one of the first years I've been out of town for my birthday. I was at college once, I think, for it, or twice, a couple times, I think. It will be the first time I will not be spending Thanksgiving with my family. So, and this was the one year I was going to go all out for a big 3-0 birthday bash. And I was going to do that at Star Trek celebration, which of course just got canceled. So it's it took the wind out of my sails. I had actually finally let myself be all right, we're going to do a big party, big celebration, all out, whatever. And it really kind of took the wind out of my sails, being well, that's that. So now I'm sort of trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm sure I'll do something. I'm not going to sit around and cry,
We'll do something,
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for watching. We will see you all later. Jessi, do you have something else going on later tonight or no? You done?
I do not. Nope. I'm on call for my friend who's in the hospital right now. So.
Well, fingers crossed that they are okay.
Hopefully. A lot of it's just hoping to find answers right now. She's had some pretty bad gastrointestinal issues, and they still just don't know what caused it yet, which is always super fun and comforting, right? When you're why is my body breaking? And then your insurance advocate who just wants to charge the least amount of money humanly possible instead, wants to get you discharged as quickly as possible because they can't find anything wrong with you. So clearly you must be totally fine. And we'll just send you back home with severe abdominal pain and absolutely no appetite and assume nothing wrong will happen. Because that's totally how human life works, right? Anyway, sorry. Just very frustrated with this.
Oh no, I got tagged in something and I'm so deeply confused by it. But I'll tell you about it off air. But sorry, I just totally got distracted. But everyone, go raid somebody else's stream. Have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you, because we're really, really, really gonna need it. Also, check me out on Drunk Theo's channel in an hour to watch Star Trek. Bye, everyone.
I'll tell you where I thought I came in the forest, when the lightsaber goes like this and flies off. I said, "Oh, what a great entrance! Ah!"
rake on it? She hasn't even